I'm going to teach you how to cold approach women like the top dating coaches in the world. And I can do this because I've lived with, trained under, coached with, and worked with the top pickup artists in the entire world for over 5 years. RSD Luke, Owen Cook, RSD Max, Julian, Jeffy. Some of my good friends are Michael Sartain for almost a decade now, and also Jared Lawrence, the OGs of the pickup world. If you know anything about the old RSD Real Social Dynamic products, I also helped build, produce, and film Social Circle Blueprint 1 and 2.0. And my business partner at the time also helped build Todd's Day Game. So we've been around for quite a while and helped work on some of the top OG, courses back in the day. Todd, Luke, Owen, Jeffy, list goes on and on. So I lived with RSD Luke, or Luke Krogh, for 3.5 years. I started out building his brand, content, photos, videos for his YouTube channel, for his Instagram, and then we quickly partnered and built our own personal branding agency where we took on clients and then helped build their brand. That led to us working with many clients, one of our top clients being Vegas Dave. We took him from 800K on Instagram to 10 million. Also started and blew up his YouTube channel. He now makes well over $1 million a month, largely because of all the content that we actually made for him. We also worked with Connected Cannabis for quite a while too. So we had a crazy journey. I lived in pretty much every single city across the entire country. One of the main selling points of Luke's brand was Vegas Immersion, where essentially if you wanted to learn pickup, where else is better to learn pickup than Vegas? Nightclubs, Excess, Hakkasan, Omnia, EBC, all of the top clubs. We know promoters, we still do, hosts, girl guys, a lot of the DJs. So we have a lot of access. So essentially, if you wanted to learn cold approach, you would sign up for Vegas Immersion. So you would literally move to Vegas for a week, 2 weeks, a month, however long. Some guys lived for multiple months in Vegas taking Vegas Immersion. We would take them out to the club every single night, to different clubs, whatever the top club was that night, and teach them cold approach in field. And then we also have trainings in the training room, the karaoke room at one of the top strip clubs where we know a lot of, the co-founder, some managers there as well. So we would bring the guys to one of the top strip clubs in the kind of the back room and teach them there, teach them cold approach and, social dynamics, pickup, all that kind of stuff. So essentially the first couple of years of living with Luke, we were teaching cold approach throughout the entire country at different events that we would have almost per week. And then also the training in Vegas. And then we would also be building our clients' brands at the time. The top one was Vegas Dave. So yachts, mansions, infinity pools, Dubai, Tulum, right? Swimsuit models, pageants, bikini contests, photo shoots, all of that. The first few months after I moved to Vegas, we immediately moved to LA for about 6 months plus in a $40,000 a month mansion in Mount Olympus, one of the nicest areas in the hills, the Hollywood Hills. And then we also had a spot in San Francisco. We would be popping back and forth between Vegas, the Hollywood Hills, San Francisco, and then whatever city was that week. Or we usually traveled every week or every 2 weeks to a new city to do a boot camp, free tour. We do in-person seminars, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, it was complete chaos, especially for the first 3 years, because it was nonstop travel, content, teaching cold approach in all these different settings in the nicest clubs, not only in Vegas, but also in the entire country. New York, Miami, LA, Austin, Chicago, the list goes on and on. I was not there just for content. I was there to learn cold approach and master social dynamics just in general as a kind of long-term RSD fan. So essentially, I mastered this skill, cold approach, which is what I'm going to teach you in this video so you don't have to waste a decade of your fucking life. So today, I'm going to break down the exact sequence that you need to know to crush cold approach. It's really a very simple structure. And now that I've gone through all the different phases over a decade, I think it's been about maybe 13 years since I really started with cold approach. I've gone through quite a bit of iterations, right? Everyone starts at kind of direct game. If you get more advanced, you obviously go more indirect, a lot more investment game, which we'll get into. But in this video, I'm going to break down the exact approach sequence that no one else will teach you, especially nowadays. Everybody got canceled or deplatformed in like 2019 or so, 18. So everyone's afraid to talk about this. But obviously this is very applicable to our brand. Like you still need to, I'm not saying you should go to Excess or Omnia and approach 50 girls per night, right? In GA. I definitely am not recommending doing that. I mean, you can, but like, it's not really good use of your time. If you're like a 30 to 50 year old dude who like makes some good money, probably not the best use of your time, but you should be able to walk up to a girl. Let's just say you're at Crystals in Vegas, or you're at Lincoln Road in Miami, or the Grove in LA, wherever you are, the OG pickup, day game spots. You should be able to walk up to a girl, 1 set, 2, 3 set, mix set, and be able to talk to them and get their IG. You should be able to walk up to any girl that you see and start a conversation. And it shouldn't be weird. It shouldn't be like, I really liked you. I would be kicking myself if I didn't come up to you and, ask for your number. That's cringe. Never say that. We'll go over that in a second, what to say. But anyway, if you just watch this one video, you know enough about cold approach. You don't really need to know that much more. There's always like the 80-20, the 20% where you get, when you kind of reach the mastery level. But this will get you the 80% the way there. Just watch the whole freaking video, okay? So here's the full sequence. Open, break rapport, build comfort, and escalate. Now, while you're doing that, you need to be asking the 4 logistical questions, the only 4 questions that actually matter in set in a cold approach set. And just so you know, set means just like the amount of girls, like 1 set, 2 set, no one really says 1 set, but 2 set, 3 set, right? If it's 2 set mixed. If it's a 3-set mixed, it means there's a guy in the set as well. That's kind of the nerd pickup lingo that you should probably know in this video. Again, open, break rapport, build comfort, escalate. And while you're doing that system, you need to be asking the 4 logistical questions, because those are the only things that matter if you actually can pull right then and there. Or if you can see her in the future, we call that future projection. You're pulling her out of the present moment and putting her into the future. So now she kind of imagines what it would be like after, she leaves this moment in time with you. She actually is thinking about seeing you tomorrow, the next day. So you need to figure out, do you need to future project, close contact, or can you actually pull right there? All of the things I'll be talking about today, that system, it all falls under the umbrella of what we call investment game. The only real game that matters is how much can you get that girl to invest into you, right? Emotionally, physically, monetarily, and logistically. If you don't get any investment from the girl, the second she leaves your site, she forgot about you. There's no investment, right? Think of any relationship you've ever had in your entire life. You've invested into that relationship, whether it's emotionally, physically, monetarily. You've spent money on people. You've gotten people gifts. You've listened to their problem. You've done things over and over again with people. You've moved around your schedules to invest to seeing that person. Those are all forms of investment. Let's just say you put money in a stock. You want a return on that stock, right? The more money you put in, the more of a return you want. So it's the exact same thing applies with humans, and especially girls. Girls love attention from a man who they respect. If there's polarity and they feel safe, they're going to be obsessed with you, right? So you need to get the girl to invest as much as you can into you. And how do we do that? Open, break rapport, build comfort, and escalate. What you want is investment from the girl. Investment turns into attraction, right? When she feels temporarily safe, because I'm not talking about like a long-term relationship here where the girl has to feel safe with like how you lead arguments, and do you need reassurance from her? Do you give her the ick? And can she let her guard down and feel fully safe with you? That does apply in long-term relationships. It also does apply in short-term attraction kind of pickups. The girl needs to feel temporarily safe, right? We call it a comfort bucket, right? She feels comfortable, safe enough to then move the ball forward in the interaction, right? But there are different types of girls that need different levels of comfort and also attraction. You can call it a comfort or safety bucket, and then you call it an attraction or polarity bucket, right? The polarity is really being attractive. We'll go over ways to build attraction, but essentially think of this to simplify it. You need investment from the girl, right? You need her investing into you. Essentially anything she says to you in the interaction is investment. Now there are different kind of levels of how good investment that is. If she's telling you her name, that's like a 1 out of 10 investment. If she's telling you the deepest, darkest story of like the hardest time in her life that she had to go through by herself and how she like all the negative feelings she was feeling, that's pretty high level of investment. Most guys would be like, oh, I don't want to hear that. She's investing heavily into you emotionally. That's a very good sign. Who else on the planet will she be telling that to other than like her best friend and her boyfriend, right? Nobody else. Now you don't want to be the emotional punching bag where the girl's just like dumping on you and then she leaves, right? But that's where the polarity comes in. If you have all safety and all comfort and no polarity and no attraction, obviously it's straight to friend zone. If you have all attraction and no comfort, the girl might laugh, but then she'll leave and never text you back. Both sides of the spectrum are bad. The attraction bucket, you feel more validated. Say you're in the club and you're making joke. She's laughing and then she goes, oh, gotta go. And then she leaves. And you're like, oh, that felt good. I felt like I did well, but I don't see her anymore. She didn't respond to me. You know what I mean? Either way, it's bad. You need both. You need both comfort and attraction, and different girls have different levels of how much of the bucket they need, right? So investment game, we want the girl to invest into us. How do we do that? Break rapport, build comfort. That turns into investment. So step 1, open. This is probably the hardest part for every guy in the entire world. They have no idea how to open. They don't know what to say. They get all jammed up. It makes sense. Like evolutionarily, you are seeing a girl that you could repopulate with. If you fuck this up, your DNA dies. That's what your brainstem is thinking. Your mammalian brain, right? So it makes sense of why you would be a bit anxious and your heart rate would be going up. Don't fuck this up. Your adrenaline, cortisol, all the things. The best way to frame this, and again, Luke taught me this probably about 7 years ago, is think of reverse anxiety, reverse cold approach anxiety, right? Rather than saying like, if I approach, all these bad things will happen, right? Say, if I don't approach, all these bad things will happen, right? If I don't go to talk to her, then I potentially lost out on my future wife, right? The mother of my kids right there. I just missed her. I didn't talk to my wife right there. That could be my perfect 10. She could be amazing, nurturing, sweet, like I'm loving, extremely attractive, exactly my type. And she could be my wife who would have kids and live happily ever after. And I just let her walk away because she was walking a little too fast. How do you feel in your body when you let that go? Because you know what's going to happen. The second you don't approach and the girl walks away, if you're an actual man, the rest of the day, you're going to be saying to yourself, man, I fucked up. Why didn't I approach her? That was so stupid. I should have just gone. What is wrong with me? Like the whole day, you'll just be like, what is wrong with me? Right? So you don't want to beat yourself up too hard, but obviously anticipate if you don't do the thing that's easy, just try. Like, who the fuck cares if you look a little weird? And I'll give you lines to say that like you're not going to be creepy even if you say the line and it doesn't go well, which it usually does. But step 1 is open. Use that technique to get rid of approach anxiety. So you have the reverse approach anxiety, right? So there are many different ways to open, right? I'll break it down to the most simple ones that actually are effective. Number one, the one I don't recommend, I'll start with this, direct. Now, direct opener is what anybody on the planet can do. Any single dude right now can go do this. You don't need to learn any game, right? The point of learning game is to be able to punch above your weight, to get more attractive girls that you probably don't deserve, that are probably above your kind of like league, right? They're more attractive than what you usually dated, and they're used to higher status guys than maybe you are right now. That's the point of game, is to be able to punch above your weight so you have high polarity and also high safety. You're attractive, you dress well, you have a cool haircut, good fashion, all the things, right? So going direct just kind of like ruins all of that, because anybody can do that. And it's very, you give away your intent very quickly, and it makes her kind of, her walls shoot up. An example of direct is walking up to a girl and going, hey, I think you're cute. Hey, I like you. Hey, I would be kicking myself all day if I didn't come up and talk to you. Hey, I wanted to talk to you. But that's very direct. It's essentially saying, I like you. I want to talk to you, which to any girl, immediately you make it awkward, high pressure, because like you want something. She's cute. You want her. So she has her guard up. If she has a boyfriend, immediately she's like, I can't talk to this guy. This is a boundary crossing. If I'm dating an actual male, this is a boundary that I'm crossing right now. I don't want to risk my relationship with my man by continuing to talk with this guy that clearly likes me, clearly wants to hit on me, clearly would love to sleep with me if I didn't say no. So already you put massive pressure on her. You gave away your intent. Essentially, it's like you're playing poker and you're just like, I have pocket sevens, by the way. You know what I mean? You just like show your cards. You're just like, hey, here's what I got. Don't do that. It just removes all the mystery. You put all the tension and pressure on her. Girls hate pressure. Hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it. I'm not saying you can't lead, but you can't put pressure like that. Way too much pressure, and it's like cringe beta mill. It just screams like my mom was super controlling, and this is how I think I am able to talk to females. It just be super pressure, controlling, cringe, guilt, right? Use a lot of guilt. I'm not saying that one line saying I think you're cute is guilting her, but it does put a lot of pressure, and those are, you know, symptoms of other things that might be more of a red flag. Anyway, I've heard way too many beta male stories from girls that get hit on, and then the guys say crazy shit, and the guys like aren't even not attractive. They're like kind of like attractive dudes, like they're not bad looking dudes, but just no one taught them game. So I don't recommend any direct opener, which you probably have said before. It's fun. Like 20% of the time it might work. Like if you go direct, 20% of the time it might work. Especially like you're in a club, people are drinking. Sure, fuck it. You want to have fun, get some crazy body temperature spikes, and then all this man to women sexual tension, which you shouldn't be doing in the club in person. Save the sexual tension, save that tension for when you're back home. Why would you do it in person at the club or at the street corner outside of Starbucks? Like that's the complete wrong time to do that. Horrible time to do that, right? So don't do that. Anyway, I would avoid anything that's direct, where you're saying essentially, I like you. Way too much pressure, too fast, puts all the pressure on her to respond. If you know anything about female psychology, they have a very slow, indirect decision-making process. Masculine is the complete opposite. Think of like the most low consciousness masculine. He needs an answer, a decision now. He didn't even think about what he was deciding. He just did it. He like decided before he thought, right? Females are the complete opposite. Now, there's two extremes. The masculine doesn't think and acts. That also can be bad. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. The girl needs a lot of time to think before she acts. Sometimes she doesn't act at all. She's very passive, apathetic, and resigns completely and then blames other people. Also bad. There are negative qualities to both thinking style, but you don't want to put pressure on her, especially immediately. It's always going to be bad because of course she'll go, I'm all set. I can't. I have a boyfriend, even though when she doesn't, right? It's too much pressure. So you're immediately qualifying yourself and justifying yourself, coming up and going, hey, I like you. Do you like me? Even if a girl did that to you, you'd probably be like, I don't know. Can you give me a second? Can you give me some time to think about it? Even if a girl did it to you, right? You'd be like, am I on a prank show? Is this catfish? Is this like punked? Like, what are we doing here? You know, you'd be looking around for a camera. So I would not recommend indirect unless you're like in a strip club or a club, right? I do recommend indirect. Now, this is what actually works the majority of the time. But you're never going to get blown out for going indirect. You will get blown out for doing direct, right? If you go, hey, I really like you, she just like scoffs at you and walks away. That will happen, right? Even if you're a handsome guy, it's pretty funny. So indirect, there are 4 indirect openers that I actually recommend. There are a few more, but I really boiled it down to these 4 that I actually would recommend you say. So the first one is called the functional opener. So you're asking for help or information. Imagine you're walking down the street and you go, hey, do you know where the nearest Starbucks is? Hey, do you know where the bathroom is? Is this bar any good? Do you know what time this place closes? Right? Those are functional openers. Now they're really good to start the conversation. Very, very low risk, but also kind of low reward because now you have to transition. We'll get to the transition in a second, but essentially the only purpose of the opener is get her attention. You need their focus before anything else. If you don't have a girl's focus, you have nothing. You have no situation. You have no set at all. That's a functional opener. The next is situational. You're commenting on what's happening around you. Her friend at the bar spills her drink and you say to her, not her friend, you say, hey, is she okay? Like implying like something wrong with her. Or, you know, the DJ's playing and you say to her, the DJ's terrible. A lot of these work really well if it's a statement. If you're not even asking a question to her, you're just saying a statement out loud, which is essentially elicitation. I'm just saying a provocative statement, which somebody can kind of join into without the head-on pressure of a question. If I go like, do you think this DJ is terrible? It's a lot of pressure, ton of pressure, and like yes or no required, right? If I go like, this DJ is terrible, but like clearly like she's right here, right? And I'm right here. And I go, this DJ's terrible. And if she agrees, what do you think she's going to say? I know. It is so bad. It was better yet last week. I was here last weekend. And then eventually we turn this way. See that? It's way more kind of a subtle. Extroverts do this a lot. If you ever listen to an extrovert conversation with an external locus of control, especially, all they say is statements all day. They're just like talking in parallels. They're never talking like with each other. They're like next to each other. Like the weather's been bad this week. It was worse last week. The baseball team played last weekend. They suck. There's no questions at each other. There's some statements obviously allowed in conversations, but for the most part, especially with a new person you're trying to get investment out of, you do need to be asking questions. But that's a good way to do a situational opener using elicitation or just a regular question with an interrogative. But essentially, you're reacting to the environment that you're both in. Very natural, no pressure. That's how girls love to talk. Is I'm feeling something because of my environment. Let's talk about it, right? And I get attention as a byproduct, which is how she, lives. Like her oxygen is attention. So next, opinion opener. I don't really like this that much, but it is indirect and it does kind of work sometimes. The old OG PUA style, you can walk up to a girl and ask her a question on her opinion, right? Who lies more, guys or girls? I had a wing a long time ago. He was my wing for like 3 years. He was kind of young and he would open the craziest sets in the world. There'll be like a 7 set mixed, right? Like 3 girls, 4 dudes, whatever. He would just walk right up on the street, start talking, and the girls would love him. Or like boyfriend girlfriend sets. He would open them all the time. Just crazy, not insane stuff. So I've had a lot of wild experiences. I mean, gaming with RSD Luke is, gangster. And also with Owen, like I've been to Bungalow and many of like the OG kind of spots that all the RSD crew goes to kind of teach boot camps. I've taught on boot camps with Owen, with Max, obviously with Luke multiple times. Julian has some really good like OG kind of in the nightclub pickup style. Max has some good mindsets. Luke is like just by far the best on everything. Social circle, pickup, like high level game theory, all the stuff. And then Owen's just really good for like good theory. If you watch like the 2015, 16, 2017 videos on the Free Tour YouTube channel back in the day, that was like life-changing info. Owen's really good for like, if you've never cold approached before, here are some processes to follow. Just do this every fucking night. Just here's the process, stick to the process, right? Luke's game is extremely technical and then a lot of investment with very nuanced social dynamics and, pauses, breaks, rapports, like a lot of psychology going into it, which is very, high level. So anyway. So opinion, right? Do guys lie more or do girls lie more? Who cheats more? Do girls cheat more or do guys cheat more, right? Any silly question, you can just ask a girl and she'll just give her opinion, especially at a bar when she's social or she's had a drink or two or with her friends. Like they're way more open, just to like give a line like, guys lie more, they always cheat. And it's like 90% of men are all beta males and more than a third of the population of men haven't been intimate in the past year. Almost 50% of people under 28 now, men under 28 are virgins. I'm like, yeah, sure. Guys cheat more. They definitely do. It's not just like the 2% of man that you're talking to that you would only date that has more options that would cheat. No, not that. Every man, right? The Walmart greeter who's 45 years old, he's cheating. Yeah, he's has so many options. He's so tempted all day. He's definitely cheating. Just complete, skewed sample size. Anyway, we could ask them opinion openers and just get their opinion, right? Excuse me, right? You always want a statement of empathy whenever you open a new set, wherever you are, even if you're in a club. Sorry to bother you, right? That's when I would say, sorry to bother you. Who lies more, girls or guys? You can literally say that and she would respond immediately. That's like an OG line. Who lies more? Who cheats more? Those are kind of the two main ones. Now, the last indirect opener, which I would absolutely recommend that you say the majority of the time, is a compliment opener. Now, do not compliment her looks. Do not compliment her body ever. You should never say that. The only time you should ever say any compliments about her body or face, how pretty she is after you've been with each other. That's it. It shouldn't be before, right? Before you're like, it's just cringe, beta male. Like, again, you're showing your cards, intent. I like your body. Don't say that. How many thousands of times has she heard that said by some creepy old dude, some beta male, some simp that she never, ever would be attracted to, let alone date or sleep with or anything like that. You just give all your power away immediately. It is a power game. You're trying to be high status. You're dealing with a very sensitive, complex, intuitive, emotional organism where you can't just give your power away. Oh, it doesn't matter. I wanted to say she's pretty. If I let her know how pretty she is, maybe then she'll just want to sleep with me. Like, that's how dumb some men are. I don't even mean to like roast them, but like that, I've just seen it so many times where like I'm in some baller setting. We're at like Waldorf or some like sick penthouse in Vegas or LA. And this dude that like clearly shouldn't be there, he like was talking to her and then he goes, you're really pretty, by the way. I really like, you're how tall you are. Or he says some like cringe compliment about her looks. You could just see her face like, oh, thanks. And then you could just see her in her body be like, creeped out, unsafe, don't like this, gave all power away. She felt like 20 feelings at the same time. It's like, imagine, because girls are extremely intuitive. They have the corpus callosum. It's like 30% thicker than a man that links the two hemispheres. So they feel, right? The right and left hemispheres are connected, have way more intense connection between the two. So they can see, feel, and have all these memories, and their hippocampus is bigger. Memories are a lot more, vivid. And that's why girls remember dates and all the things, whatever. But essentially they feel like 20 different things at the same time, right? They got the ick. What does that mean though? Like they're disgusted. They're like feel embarrassed. They feel creeped out, unsafe. This guy's creepy. He like gave all his power away. She thought he was cool, but now he's not high status, like cringe. He shouldn't be saying that, uncalibrated, so many things. And it's imagine like all these feelings of hers trying to get through the door at the same time and just like it's stuck, right? That's a girl when she feels like, more than two things at the same time.
Here's what happens when they all try to get through the door at once.
She's like, oh, not attracted to you. I'm all set, and writes you off in her mind like immediately. She'll talk to you for another minute or two, but then she's already planning her escape. Oh, my friend's calling me. Oh, I just have to walk outside for a sec. I have to do this thing. So the compliment opener that you should say, never compliment her body, looks, anything that she didn't have to work for to attain. And I'm not saying because she worked out, she had a better body, and compliment her improvement or transition with her body. No, I'm talking about her like hair, her eyelashes, her earrings, her accessories, her outfit, her shoes, how she matched the different things of her outfit. She matched her earrings with her necklace. There's always something about a girl's outfit that they probably spent 30 minutes to an hour just to leave the house, just to go to Starbucks, worrying about what outfit do I want to wear today? How do I feel today? This outfit isn't the right outfit for today because I don't feel like wearing this outfit. It doesn't make me feel good. This is not Tuesday's outfit. This is. And it took them like 30 minutes to find it. They usually always have one thing about their entire appearance that kind of stands out just a little bit, right? They're wearing a certain shade of lipstick, or they have like a ring on, or a couple of rings on, or they match their like earrings with their necklace with their, rings that they're wearing, or their shoes, right? Their shoes matches their top. There's something that always stands out. Their hair is done a little bit more extra, more curls than usual, whatever it is. So you want to compliment something that she's worked to attain, right? Something that actually has, she did herself, that is now on her body, not just her body itself or her face itself. So a good example of this is, excuse me, sorry to bother you. That's the most money line to say in the entire world. Excuse me, sorry to bother you. First of all, whatever you say to a girl within the first second, she didn't hear it immediately. No one's paying attention. You have to get their focus first. So, excuse me, sorry to bother you. They might not even hear the excuse me, but they heard the like, sorry to bother you part. And she was like, yes. Or she like pulls her headphone out, or she like looks over and orients herself to you. Now you have her focus. You need focus immediately. You need attention on you. Then you can say the line. The way you matched your necklace and your shoes, the way you matched your jewelry is awesome. Keep it up. I would write this down. I'd take out your phone and take notes of this. Excuse me, sorry to bother you. The way you matched your blank top and shoes, hair clips and necklace, whatever it is, notice it. It takes 3 seconds to look and be like, oh shit, she's wearing rings, necklace, and earrings. Oh, they're all gold. How hard was that to do? That is like the most meaningful thing you could possibly say to that girl for that day, is you noticed this thing that took her an hour this morning to like coordinate, and you noticed it and you complimented it. What is she going to say? Excuse me, sorry to bother you. Love the way you matched your earrings and jewelry is awesome. Keep it up. Now, super important. After you say that, you turn as if you're about to leave. I'm leaving now, right? Keep it up. I'm on the way out. I'm taking steps this way, away from you, because I don't want anything. I just wanted to say that, and then I'm on my merry way, because that's just how the world works. So essentially, excuse me, sorry to bother you, right? Almost like take a step back when you say that, right? Because imagine some dude coming up to you, hey, like the first thing you're going to think is like, what do you want from me? This is alarming. Threat detected. Mammalian brain has detected a threat. hey, sorry to bother you. And then I would almost lean back, like take a step back. And then like, the way you matched your jewelry is awesome. Keep it up. I didn't say, I like your jewelry. I didn't say, my favorite thing about your outfit is, no one gives a fuck about me. Me, I, no one cares. Don't say the word I ever. Try to never say the word I. I really like blah, blah, blah. No, you're qualifying. You're saying what you like. You want to hold your cards close to the chest. You don't want to say I. So the way you matched your jewelry is awesome. I'm taking like the authority frame as if I'm in charge of dictating and approving of whose jewelry is good or not and who matched properly or well, right? The way you match your jewelry is awesome. Keep it up. It's again, a command, keep it up. Like, that's awesome. And I walk away. What is she going to say? I'm walking away. I don't want anything. I'm good. Just the way I am, right? Max polarity. I don't want anything. What's she going to say? Oh my God, thank you. The second she says thank you, you act like she just sucked you back into the conversation. She just sucked you back. I was about to leave. Thank you. And then what's the next line you say? I would again write this down. Oh my God, you're so friendly. Where are you from? Now you're in a full blown fucking conversation. That's probably the hardest part that guys have, is they open, but then how do they transition to an actual conversation, right? That's the fucking line right there. You're welcome. Write that down. Absolutely. Works every single time. Because what did I just say? I walked away. I don't want anything. She pulled me back in. It looks like on the surface, that's how she feels at least. Oh, thank you. You're so friendly. Where are you from? As if like I'm noticing she's friendly, even if she's the most kind of like bitch girl in the world. If I say, oh my God, you're so friendly, where are you from? It's almost like this frame that you have, or you're now agreeing to because I asked the question right afterwards. And if you answer that question, you're agreeing to the previous frame, which is you're so friendly. It's almost like I'm forcing you to comply to be friendly. And if the girl's friendly and answers you, obviously it's going to be more investment than if she's mean and closed off. So, oh my God, you're so friendly. Where are you from? And then boom, now you're into a full blown conversation. This is the fun part, because the opening, that was the big like mountain to get over. Now you're actually in the conversation. Now, wherever you are, walking down the street, nightclub, whatever it is, doesn't matter. You walk in and you're within earshot. So now she actually can hear you. Not too close. Don't lean in too close. But now you're actually in a conversation, right? And you kind of hooked at this point. We call it the hook. Now that you're in a conversation with her, now we got some questions to ask her. Now you should be curious, because like random girl on the street, let's just say you're at the Grove, like you should have about 100 questions to ask her any given time. You don't want to just keep asking question after question after question after question, because that's interview mode, and without any polarity, that's straight to friend zone. I'm not saying do that. You need a healthy balance of comfort building and breaking rapport, like we talked about earlier, the safety and the polarity. So what do? What's an example conversation after you transition after the opener? So opener, oh my God, you're so friendly. Where are you from? And she goes, oh, I'm from LA. And you go like, wait, you were born here? And she's like, oh no, I'm from Pennsylvania originally. Shut the fuck up, right? Disbelief reward. What made you move here? And she's like, well, and now we're in a full-blown freaking conversation within 2 seconds. She's like, well, I got into school here. I go to blank so-and-so college nearby. And, I graduated 2 years ago and I just kind of loved the area. And now I live in Venice. And I don't know, I just kind of like the area. That's awesome. What'd you study in school? Like you just have so many, I have so many threads to go off of now. Pennsylvania, what part of Pennsylvania? I know some towns, so I can immediately build commonalities there. Essentially what you want to be doing is asking these follow-up questions, building commonalities, because what's the way that we feel connected with people? One of the most important ways that we feel connected with people, commonalities. Look at any of your friends. You probably have a massive amount of commonalities with any of your friends, right? You play basketball together. You both like Chipotle, right? You like girls. You play video games. Like whatever the thing is, you go to the club, you like to take photos, you like to hike, whatever the thing is, you probably have a lot of commonalities, whether you know it or not, with your friends, which is why you're actually friends with them. You feel this like bond, this like undertone bond of like, oh no, we like these things. We agree on all these things, whether it's a politics, whatever it is. It could be anything. You have a lot of commonalities with your friends. So you want to do the same thing here. Now you don't want to say like, oh, me too. I like that too. I like Pennsylvania too. You don't want to say that shit. You want to build a commonality in a high status way. Again, without showing your cards. Me too. I like Philadelphia. I watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Don't say that shit. Right? Be like, what part? She goes, it's outside of, Philly. Not many people know the area. What area? King of Prussia? What area? She's like, yeah, King of Prussia. How did you know that? Oh, been there a couple times. That's how you build a commonality, right? Like I literally said, like, what part? She goes, not many people know. I said a statement, oh, King of Prussia, or I said the town name. She's like, yeah. Or she goes like, oh, it's actually right outside there. And now she's curious. Are you from Philadelphia? How do you know? I'm like, and then you give some sort of very low investment non-answer back to her because she doesn't actually care. She's just like kind of curious. She's like data collecting, right? Oh yeah, I've been there. I've been in the area a couple times. Pretty cool area. I think they have like a big ball there, don't you? And I already said another provocative statement to get us off of How do you know the area, right? So we're building those commonalities in a very like kind of advanced way, which I would definitely recommend rather than being like, oh, me too. I like that too. No way, I've been there too. So open. We asked just some foundational, they're called phatic questions. There's 4 types of questions. I know I'm putting a lot in here. This is kind of like a manifesto. You watch one video on cold approach, this is it. You need nothing else. That's it. There's 4 different types of questions you could be asking just in general, right? Phatic questions, which are superficial questions that are, how's your day? How are you? Just like very superficial questions. Those are necessary. If you ever watch like trial attorneys, you need to lay foundation. You can't just go right to the jugular. Where were you December 6th at this night? Were you there or not? You can't do that. You need to lay foundation first. Same thing with an average conversation. The girl needs to feel this consistency. You're reliable. I can expect this thing to happen next because of your personality, because of previous patterns that I've seen in you, right? Your brain is a human pattern recognizing machine. If there's no pattern to recognize because you went straight to like unique questions. Who was your celebrity crush in high school? It's like, who gives a, first of all, who gives a fuck about that? Like some people say to ask these really weird, unique questions. No one cares. And there's no foundation. There's no commonalities built. So the girl's going to be like, this is weird. Why are you asking me this? Like, I don't even know you. So you need phatic questions, which are superficial questions. You need data questions, which are like, how old are you? How long have you been living in LA? Those are data questions. And there's evaluative questions, getting her to evaluate something, right? Logically, her opinion. And then there's emotional questions, right? How do you feel about living in LA? Evaluative is like, what's the best part about living in LA? Again, emotional, which is kind of the best. Evaluative and emotional are the best. I would say emotional is like always the best because girls want to be talking in feelings all day. That's the way to maximize polarity with men and women. She talks about her feelings all day. Your logic. You still make her feel heard and understood. You don't try to solve her problems unless she wants solving, but she talks in feelings all day, right? How do you feel is the most important thing. How do you feel? How's your body feeling today? How does that make you feel? Stuff like that. So a couple questions you could be asking right off the open. Oh my God, you're so friendly. Where are you from? Right? Perfect question. Oh, from here, blah, blah, blah. And then if you need to, because gets a little bit nuanced, I'll try to keep it a bit simple here. If you need to, you can break rapport. Break rapport is essentially creating a spark, that polarity that you're pretty much telling the girl, I don't need you. I'm my own man. I don't really comply with any set of rules. I'm not a beta male. I'm not a simp. I'm not afraid to potentially offend you. I'm not going to go out of my way to insult you because that's obviously not what I'm talking about at all. That's stupid. That's obviously going to sever rapport and not break it. You want to break rapport, not sever it. Essentially, think of it as like a temporary kind of jolt when you break rapport. An example of breaking rapport in this case, and I'll give you the specifics. An example would be a tease, right? So she says she's from Philadelphia. I go, oh no, well, you're from Philadelphia? This definitely isn't going to work. And I like turn to leave. So a couple things. You're from Philadelphia? Tease. This isn't going to work. Disqualifier. And then I turn to walk away. Take away. So it's 3 breaks in rapport immediately. Plus tonality. My tonality also breaks rapport. So it's 3 to 4 breaks in rapport within like 2 seconds. So immediately with a girl that's more attraction centric, there's 2 types of girls. Comfort centric. Picture like the girl that grew up in the suburbs of like the middle of fucking nowhere, Wisconsin. She has like 3 friends that she's known for 20 years. She's had 2 boyfriends that she both dated them for 5 years. That is a comfort centric girl. She doesn't need much breaks in rapport. She doesn't need much attraction from you, right? You can be wearing Yeezys and that's it. You're good for life. Go to the gym without her sometimes and you're good for life. Like for life is the polarity. Attraction centric girl. Think of a girl that lives on the strip, that lives in West Hollywood, that goes out almost every single night. She's a fucking Gemini extrovert. Like that girl right there needs maximum attraction, maximum polarity. She needs the teasing, the banter, the negging, right? The DHV, the DLV, which are all, those are all categories of breaks in rapport. Let's go over again, the 2 different types of girls. The comfort center girl, she doesn't need much breaking rapport. So if you break too much rapport, that's actually bad. That could sever the set. If you've ever been in a set before, when you're breaking too much rapport, you're telling too many jokes, too many teases, and the girl like doesn't like it, right? And she like kind of almost shuts down. She overfilled her attraction bucket and the safety / comfort bucket is too low. So you don't want to do that because every guy is like, he gets his heart broken and he's like, I'm going to be the most attractive man ever. I'm going to do everything that can maximize my attractiveness and I'm never going to be, vulnerable again. I'm never going to build comfort again. I never get hurt again. And then the guy just overflows the attraction bucket and then you lose girls just like you did when you overflowed the comfort bucket with no attraction. You can fall off on either side of the spectrum. You can lose on either side of the spectrum. So I'm trying to say it just feels better to lose on the attraction side because at least you're getting some response. The buying temperature is at least high for a second or 2 when the girl responds to your break and rapport. But let's go over the different types of break and rapports. So the first part that the OG kind of PUAs back in the day, like early 2000s would use all the time. I don't really recommend using this that much unless you're kind of subtle about how you do it. So the first one's called a DHV, demonstration of higher value. So back in the day, what they would do for DHVs, like the OG kind of PUAs, if you ever read the game, Tyler Durden, Mystery, Neil, Eric, what they would do is they would DHV, which is essentially saying, like, bragging about yourself. I have this cool car. I live in this cool side of town. I live in this penthouse. I just got back from Tulum. I just got back from Dubai, whatever it is. It's a very blatant DHV. I don't recommend doing that. I, in fact, recommend doing the opposite, which is DLV, which is the next one, demonstration of lower value, right? Because DLV, you're essentially stating something that is so far-fetched and the opposite of what probably is assumed to be true that the girl is like, wait a minute. No, you're not. Like if you're in a club and like, you know, the owner, you know, the DJ, and you were just in the DJ booth and like dapping up the fucking DJ, and you just like fist bump the bouncer, and she saw all of it, and you walk over to her and you start talking, you're like, yeah, this is my first time here. I'm a peasant. She's like, what? No, and then like for her to say anything to resolve the confusion, she has to invest. I just saw you in the DJ booth. She's investing emotionally, saying that I had saw you previously. I've been watching you, observing you, and I care about this right now. I'm trying to resolve this because I care. Right? That's all emotional investment. It's what you want. I just saw you in the DJ booth. You just fist bumped the bouncer. What are you talking about? Yours isn't your first time. You're lying. And now it's like this funny kind of polarity of like your discretion. You're playing this game where like I'm trying to downplay how cool I am. And if I downplay it, the ceiling is infinite of how cool you actually are. If you don't downplay it and you try to brag, the ceiling's right here of how cool you are. Does that make sense? So you want to downplay it, not to like a complete self-deprecating where you're like, is this guy depressed? Don't say it like, I'm a piece of shit, I'm such a loser. Don't say that. Just say like, I'm a fuck up. And you're kind of smiling as you say it. I don't know anybody here. I'm a peasant. This is my first time here. You walk her to the owner's table. Like after that, you go side stage, you go in the DJ booth, right? Hey, you want to go in the DJ booth? Like that's the funniest thing ever. I don't know anybody here. I'm such a fucking peasant. Hey, you want to go in the DJ booth? And she's like, what? And then you like dab up the fucking DJ. So this DHV and this DLV, I recommend DLVs more, especially when you are a cool dude. You have a cool car. You have some skills. Your Instagram is fucking popping. DLVs work really well. Now you can still do DHVs because you just have to do a DHV in a very subtle way. You can't be braggadocious, right? You have to make it seem like it is actually part of what you would have said. If you're in the conversation, you're talking and she just mentions that she just got back from Tulum, right? She was there with her girlfriends like 2 weeks ago. DHV, while building the commonality at the same time, it could be, nice. What'd you do? You get some photos? And she's like, oh yeah, I got some. Where'd you guys go? Go to Azulik, be Tulum? You guys stay in like more of the city or by the beach? And she's like, oh no, we didn't go really that many places. Do you go to any cenotes? You go to a teak cenote? No, I think we went to one. I forget the name. You forgot the name? Like, do you see how I'm breaking rapport? I'm qualifying her, like she's qualifying to me and telling me things about herself to kind of justify what she was doing. And so I'm building commonalities. I'm getting her to qualify herself, which builds investment. And then I'm also breaking rapport at the same time. I'm kind of implying like, you didn't go to a teak, you didn't go to Azulik, May, you didn't go to either of them, the hotel, you didn't have breakfast at the top of Azulik. Like, what did you do there? Like, do you see how I'm kind of like instilling or putting social anxiety pressure of like, you didn't do the thing you're supposed to do there? Like the trendy, cool, cunty thing, you didn't do it there? Why? Why not? Like, aren't you part of the cool kids? Like, that's kind of what I'm saying is the undertone. And then now what does that force her to do? Qualify. Well, no, I mean, I wanted to go and pick up my friend. She wanted to stay here and she was busy because she had to leave early. And because this happened. Now she's explaining what is all of that investment. She's qualifying to me. If a girl's qualifying to you and investing into you like that, that's polarity. But you want to maximize and maintain polarity at all times. Like, I'm the masculine male who's leading and she is the girl who's the feminine girl, which eventually when she feels safe enough will surrender into her feminine. Right? She will kind of surrender to me in this interaction. Right? So that's what you want to have happen. If she's qualifying to you, you're essentially the authority and she's telling you, well, I wanted to go, but we couldn't because of this and this and this. She's qualifying to me, meaning I am the higher status person in this conversation, polarity maintained. So we got DHV, we got DLV. The next would be tease. Now, a tease, I'm sure you can think of plenty of teases, right? She's in crutches. You call her Stumpy, right? She went to Tulum and then didn't go to any cool spots. You're teasing her about things that she did or didn't do, right? It's pretty simple and self-explanatory of what a tease is. She always covers her mouth when she eats food. She giggles in a funny way. Her laugh is really loud. She gets really shy whenever this thing happens. Like, you kind of playfully call it out. Makes sense? The next is a neg, which it's kind of a tease, but a little bit more harsh. It's just like a more harsh tease. I don't really recommend it. I mean, breaking rapport is just funny. And just to take note, you need comfort before you can break rapport. Because if you have no comfort, right, nothing, you have nothing in the safety comfort bucket, you try to break rapport, it's like you're just being a dick. There's no like tether there. There's no like actual connection first. And you're trying to break rapport and like come off as negging or insulting. And she's like, I don't even know you, dude, and you're insulting me. Like, that's not how this works. If you have comfort and rapport, how you can break it, right? You need to obviously build more comfort comfort after you break rapport. It's kind of a binary, like, what do we need right now? Not really focusing on me. She's kind of being arrogant and entitled. Break rapport. She's being more soft and sweet and surrendering and kind of being a bit more feminine. Comfort, right? It's very simple. It's kind of like a on-off switch, and they'll test you. They'll just feel like the intuitive hormonal influence to test him. Say the stupid thing to him. Insult his hat, right? And say he has weird hair. She'll do that randomly just to test you, which is good. If she's testing you, it's fantastic. That means she's interested. She wouldn't test a freaking beta male that she's not interested at all. So that's negging. The next is disqualifier. Now, I would say this. You got to be careful of how you say it. I don't say this on a date. This is all cold approach context. Just disqualify her or the interaction itself, right? We would never get along. You look like you're like my little sister. You're like my best friend. Essentially, it's like creating this reverse psychology where now you took one edge of the polarity. You took one side of the spectrum. It's almost like a magnet. Like you took like the north side, right? Now she wants to take the other side to balance it out. The same thing with the polarity. So if you say like, you're like my best friend, you're like my bestie, and then she maybe kind of liked you, like not as friends because there's some polarity there, she's going to be pissed. What do you mean I'm like your bestie? You're just like my little sister. That was adorable. And it's like kind of like adorable, like cringe, or adorable, like he actually thinks it's adorable, but he told me his sister. I thought he was interested in me, like, sexually. He just said sister. I'm mad. And now she wants to like figure it out, and they get to the bottom of it. What do you mean, little sister? What are you talking about? No, I'm not. And she's like almost, insulted, but not in a bad way. Like she now wants to qualify her way out of it, right? What are you talking about? No, we're not. How am I like your little sister? Which is fantastic because now she's essentially saying like, no, I want to be a sexual person with you. Which is great. The next one is banter, which is essentially like a playful back and forth conversation where you could be saying statements or questions, whatever it is, but it's like a playful back and forth. I'm sure you've gotten to like a banter back and forth with a girl before where you're saying kind of witty things. She says something, you play with it, she says it back. The goal is like maintaining this like kind of state. Here's the model again. Break rapport, comfort, escalate. You want the girl to be qualifying to you, right? So after you break rapport and you ask a qualifying question, usually a lot more qualification comes out, which then allows you to build more comfort. If you go, where are you from? She goes, I'm from Pennsylvania. And then you go, so that was comfort right there. She's kind of investing into you, so kind of qualifying, a lower grade of investment. Then you go, wait a minute, not Philadelphia, right? Breaking rapport. What's she going to say? If you have some buy-in already, investment already, she's going to qualify against it. What do you mean? What do you mean not Philadelphia? What's wrong with Philadelphia? Why don't you like Philadelphia? See how she's like, you're kind of now, you've riled her up and now she's investing more. So you can play with building comfort and breaking rapport to then get more qualification, which then leads to more investment, which then leads to attraction and then a good ending, right? So the more she invests during the process, the easier the escalation is, the easier the pull is, right? And then the next stage, open, comfort, break rapport, pull, right? The easier the pull is if you have that investment, the attraction. So the only 4 questions that really matter in a cold approach that you should be asking the girl are the 4 logistical questions. Now, these are the most important things ever. You need to memorize these questions, write them down, tattoo it on your inner eyelids, whatever it is. So the 4 questions are, who are you here with? What are you doing after this? Where are you staying? What are you doing tomorrow? We built this model because in Vegas, if you're in a club, bar, wherever it is, if you're out at all doing any sort of cold approach, even in the day, these questions are extremely relevant because what's going to screw you up from the pull? What is going to screw you up and mess up all the plans? Her friends. She is driving 6 hours the second after she leaves the club back home. She has a flight at 5 a.m. and she's staying an hour and a half away in her friend's house and she drove. She's the DD. That's going to really screw you up. And it sucks because if you're in a set and you don't ask those questions, 3 hours, you wasted the whole night on this one girl and you didn't figure out any logistics. You're hoping to like things happen afterwards. And then she goes, okay, well, it was really good talking to you. I have to drive home now. I have to drive back to Salt Lake City. Let's say you're in Vegas. There's a lot of girls that drive down from, I think it's St. George, right? In the Zion. Okay, I have to drive back to St. George now. I have 3 friends with me and I'm the DD. See you later. Dog pat. Man, getting the dog pat. Probably the lowest low. Like you didn't scream for logistics. You invested 3 hours and then she goes and just walks away. You have no contact. Oh my God. You will take the long way home that night. You will be walking home in the rain that night. So, number 1, why do we ask who are you here with? Because who do you think is going to mess up your set in person when you're there at the club? Let's just say you're at a club. Who's going to mess up your set? If she's by herself, first of all, red flag. Why the fuck is a girl at a club by herself? If she's at least with one other person, maybe her girlfriend, which is good, but like, where is she? Why isn't she here? It's a ticking time bomb until she comes back into this set. If you weren't the man and led and brought the group together, that's going to fuck your setup because it's almost like you're trying to isolate the girl. How is the friend going to feel if she sees her friend talking to a dude for like 30 minutes and that friend is by herself trying to give her friend space. Yeah, I'll give you 30 minutes. I'm coming in now. I want my friend back. That's how it's going to go every single time. So what do? You do that first. You pull the group together first. You don't let that happen to you, after the fact, and now you're trying to make up for it. Oh, I knew this was going to happen. How are you, friend? No. So you go, who are you here with? She goes, oh, my bestie. Where is she? Oh, she's at the bar. She's getting a drink. It's been like 5 minutes. There's no line at the bar. Where is she at? Oh, and then she starts looking around. Oh, I thought she was at the bar. I don't know. Maybe she's with a guy. And I'm like, no way. Really? So it's just you and your friend? Yeah. How many questions can we ask about that one answer? It's my friend. 100? If you're a man and you didn't say 100, what are we doing, man? How long you known her for? How do you know her? Where'd you guys meet? Met in school. What school? UNLV. No way. Where are you guys from originally? Well, she's from Pennsylvania and I'm from Sacramento. Shut the fuck up. You're from Sacramento? Yeah, why? I lived there for 2 years. No way. What? You lived there for 2 years? Yeah. So you're based there? You grew up there? Well, actually, it was from the Bay Area and my family moved up there because my dad got a job at blah, blah, blah. And then I moved down here for school and I just fell in love with the place. No way. So you actually live in Vegas now? There's so many cities I just said. I completely forget who's who. Anyway, you're asking so many follow-up questions and it's not just like, who are you here with? Your friend? Where's she from? Where'd you guys meet? What do you study in school? How long you know her for? Like, it's not like that. That's very linear and gross and just boring. That's interview mode. You don't want to do that. You see how there's like some playful banter. We're doing comfort building. We're doing DHV, DLV, teasing, disqualification. Wait a minute. You're from Sacramento? This is never going to work. Shake her hand. Like in a very like we're in an office meeting way. It's good meeting you. She's like, wait a minute. What do you mean it's not going to work? What are you talking about? Why does me being from Sacramento, why does that make it so we're not going to work? What are you talking about? Anyway, and just like go right back into the conversation. Does your family live in Sacramento still? Yeah. Do you see them often? I go up once a month. No way. That's awesome. Super cute. So you're super close with your family? Yeah. So we just went down that thread of who you're here with. So I got the logistical information I needed to know and I built rapport, comfort. I built rapport and comfort and broke rapport at the same time. Now it's a fun, engaging conversation. You see how fun that is? Next question. What are you doing after this? You could say it randomly. I wouldn't say it like the first question because it's a little bit too soon, but like there's some comfort rapport built up. It's just like a nonchalant question. What are you doing after this? She's going to be excited to answer. Oh, well, we don't really have any plans after this, but tomorrow afternoon, we're actually seeing a show. We're doing this, and then we're going to go to that the next day. No way. That's crazy. What show are you seeing? I logged the data, not doing anything after this. And then another follow-up question. No way. What show are you seeing? We're seeing Celine Dion. Shut the fuck up. Do you like Celine Dion? And like, she doesn't know if I am going to reward this or, break rapport on this. She has no idea. It's like, I'm in the middle. I'm on the fence, but I'm like enthusiastic about it. She's like, I love Celine Dion. And you're like, and you can either go, I hate it or I love it, depending on whatever, you want. You're like, that's awesome. No, wait. Have you guys gone before? No, this is our first time. Wow. You must be excited. I'm not even asking a question. It's a solicitation technique, right? Provocative statement. Correct the record. You must be excited. Yeah, we're super excited. This is amazing. Blah, blah, blah. My friend has actually never gone before and she has never seen her before live. She hasn't. Has she been living under a rock? Where is she, by the way? What's her name? Sandra? Where the fuck is Sandra? I don't know. I think that's her over there. Are you going to introduce us? She's like, sure. Okay. She goes and gets Sandra. Sandra's now in the set. You're doing amazing. You're crushing it. That's probably every PUA's worst nightmare. They're like, another person joins the set who's like the friend who's like trying to they immediately think the friend is going to all right, you're done talking to her. No, that's what will happen if you don't bring the friend in. If you don't bring the friend in, she'll come in at some point anyway and go, all right, I'm getting my friend back. And she won't even talk to you because she's pissed at you and jealous of the attention that you were giving her and not. So let's bring her in. Where the fuck is she? Your mindset is the more the merrier with her friends. Some random dude or people in the club, some random men in the club. Yeah, no, I'm not bringing them in the set. Her friends that she's there with, where are they? Where the fuck are they? Introduce me. You're not going to introduce me? Almost like you're offended, but it's like, I just met you 5 minutes ago, but it's kind of funny. So sure. And then she's excited too because she gets to now include her friends so she doesn't feel shitty about talking to a dude. She also gets to see how you interact with the friend. Watch the friend like you more than she does. And then now it's actual pre-selection. And now they're competing for your attention. And super important, let's just say she actually does get her friend and she brings her friend over. What are you going to do? Nice to meet you. What is your name? Right? No, absolutely do not do that. Think of it from the girl's friend's perspective. Think of it's Sandra is her friend, right? Our target girl, her name is Emily, right? Sandra is her friend coming into the set. If Sandra comes in and she saw you from across the club bar for 20 minutes talking to her, and then she walks over, she's feeling the energy presence. How does Emily feel? How do you feel? Do I like this? How do I feel here? And if you go, what's your name? Good to meet ya, right? You look like an NPC chode. You look like you don't know what's going on. You haven't talked about her yet. You don't know her name. You have no idea the dynamics, why they're here. You know nothing, meaning you just haven't led, right? You just don't really get it. And Emily might be kind of weirded out by you. So Sandra might have to come save the day. Emily, we have to go. I have to go to the bathroom, right? So she's worried. Do I have to do that? Do I have to save my friend here? So don't go, nice to meet you. What is your name? No, cringe beta male. You are the AFC C chump, average frustrated chump. So what you do instead is, what would you say to her, Sandra, if you already knew her and she was walking over? Right? How would you act? So you already know they're going to Celine Dion tomorrow. You know her name is Sandra, right? Maybe you found out some other information that they're both from Sacramento. They both went to UNLV, right? You know some details about their friendship already. If you say that to her when she first comes into the set, what is that going to make her feel? Like she can trust you? Emily shared all those details. She wouldn't do that with a creepy weirdo. Emily wouldn't tell you kind of personal information, where I go to school, where I'm from, how long we're here for, what we're doing tomorrow. She wouldn't tell you any of that if you're a creepy weirdo beta male. So when Sandra comes in, Sandra, where have you been? It's been like 20 minutes. And Sandra's like, she's almost like, who are you? How did you know I was away for so long? I kind of like that I'm already included. I'm not like shunned away like every other dude, like pushed away. They're like, he's including me. And he was like, where have you been? Meaning like, we missed you. I feel special and chosen. I don't know this guy at all, but I kind of like him. He's kind of handsome, but it's Emily's guy. But I'm not sure what's the dynamic here. I'm excited. Like that's what her first impression is going to be. Sandra, where you been? It's been like 20 minutes. We thought we lost you. We, us. The pronoun is no longer you or me, I. It is us. We thought we lost you. It was inclusive, familiarity, trust, right? All that stuff is building immediately within like one sentence. It's pretty mind blowing how quickly you can do that. Now you could say a myriad of things. That's a good line. Like, Sandra, where you been? It's been 20 minutes. We thought we lost you. You don't need to know really any knowledge about their dynamic, and you could say that anyway. So it doesn't really mean, it's not that meaningful. But what is meaningful is, we excited for the Celine Dion concert tomorrow? She's going to be like, did you told him? Wait a minute. What? Yeah, I am. Well, yeah, of course. Now Sandra is qualifying to you about Celine Dion and the concert they're going to tomorrow. And then if you know anything about like UNLV or whatever, you also can bring up that and say another statement, like a provocative statement, like we talked about with the elicitation. But don't have her just walk up to her and be like, nice to meet you, right? You also can play with her and kind of tease like, hey, I heard a lot about you. Emily was going off a little bit too much about you. I think she's had, one too many cocktails. She was sharing. And then Sandra's like, what do you mean? Emily, what did you tell him? What are you talking about? And then now all of a sudden they're both qualifying to you, trying to fight for your attention. Pre-selection is activated in both of their mammalian brains. And then watch them all of a sudden fight over your attention. What once was Emily's guy, right? And then Sandra came in, that you pulled the set together and you maybe thought Sandra's going to blow up your set. All of a sudden Sandra, who might be cuter, is now attracted to you more, right? And then now Emily sees that and she gets, her hypergamy and her pre-selection juices start flowing and she wants your attention more. And then Sandra wants your attention more. And then Emily wants your attention more. And then like the resentment they have, because every girl has like a resentment against each other in their friendship. All of a sudden that becomes fuel to then now fight for your attention harder to kind of piss off the other friend, right? So anyway, I'm not going to go, that's a little too advanced. But anyway, it's going to go great. It goes great. You want to game the set. You don't want to game the girl. If it's more than one girl, 3 girls, you want to talk to them as if they're a group. Make sure everyone's getting kind of attention. You give your girl a little bit more attention, but you want to game the group. Instead of being like, what do you want to do? Or what are you doing later? Or how do you feel? You ask the group, how do we feel? What do you guys want to do? Right? I'm not saying say those words exactly, but you ask them a group question. How do we feel about Celine Dion? How do we feel about the DJ? What do you guys feel about the club? What do you guys feel about Vegas? Right? When you're including all of them, they all feel special and chosen at the same time. And they kind of like being in the group answer rather than specific individual answers. Because in the group, they're not really individual people. They're kind of like this one blob of a person, which is good. But you also obviously want to give your girl a little bit more attention. You show her that you obviously are a little bit more interested in her. But it is really good to show all of them attention, because that does some really funny things with the dynamic. Anyway, so you could bring the friend in, whatever. Let's just say you did the 2 questions. So who are you here with? What are you doing after this? And the next question, what are you guys up to tomorrow? Now, I already got the answer. I already know what they're up to tomorrow, right? They're going to see a show, meaning they're planning to probably sleep in. So they have plenty of time in the morning to do whatever they want. And it's not like a rushed morning. So I already know that. I don't really need to ask that because I already got it. But let's just say she didn't volunteer the information. You can ask it again. You can ask that question. What do you guys do tomorrow? All right. And then really important, where are you guys staying? Now in Vegas, it's very like normal to ask that question, because like where you're staying is like a cool question. I'm staying at the Link. I'm staying at the Waldorf. I'm staying at Chuck E. Cheese. I'm staying at the Golden Nugget. I'm staying at Palms, right? It's a cool like, oh, wow, you chose this place. It says something about you if you chose to stay at Palms compared to Fontainebleau, compared to Cosmo, right? It says something about you and what kind of the experience you wanted to have or are used to. She'll actually be excited to answer it. So if she goes, oh, we're staying in fucking Henderson, 30-minute drive, but that's probably going to be a problem if she came with her friend and they stay in Henderson, because Henderson's like 30 minutes away. or like Mount Charleston. Well, we're staying in Mount Charleston at a cabin. So that's going to be a problem. You have to figure out the logistics there. Like who's driving who back? Are you going to your place? Are you going to their place? Like how are you getting there? Do they drive? Do they Uber? There's a lot of, logistical things you have to figure out. So you got to be on top of that. You're the man. You got to lead without making it seem like you're trying to make anything happen too much pressure. Okay. Now, during this entire time of you asking the questions, you're trying to get her to invest by qualifying her. Comfort, break rapport, qualify. That's the model that I want you to be really just playing on repeat. Comfort, break rapport, qualify. Sometimes if you already have comfort, then you break rapport. So that's why it's kind of interchangeable of like break rapport, comfort, break rapport. But build some comfort, break rapport, and then qualify. Ask question. Get her to talk. The more investment you have, the more attraction you'll have when you maintain polarity and safety at the same time. So let's go over 2 examples that are really important. So let's just say logistics are terrible. She's leaving on a flight tomorrow morning. She's sleeping in her car with her friend, and she's with 5 work friends that are all men, and they're getting food afterwards, just them, for like a meeting. Worst logistics ever, right? So what do? So once you find that out, you first of all ask questions about it, because you don't want to seem like, oh, you are anyway, and then you're like butthurt that she like can't see you afterwards. You don't want to do that. You want to seem non-reactive as fuck. One of the main qualities in maintaining safety in that safety/comfort bucket is that your feelings don't really change. You're not getting upset. You're not getting butthurt. You're not retaliating. You're not getting like actually mad at her, right? You're this oak tree and you have boundaries. You're an oak tree with boundaries, but you're not going to like be controlling or needy or insecure. Your feelings don't change. You're not insecure. Oh, I'm with this guy from work. Like you're not going to be like, what does he look like? I bet he's ugly. Like you're not going to say that shit. You know what I mean? Okay. So let's just say the logistics are awful and you can't pull that nice. So what you want to do is future project in the future. Now you should be doing this anyways. This is a little bit more advanced, but future project, right? We should do this thing sometime. So what you're doing is you're essentially planting seeds in their mind and pulling them out of the present moment. Because as men, what are we in? We're in the past and we're in the future at all times. And we're probably not in the present at all. Females, opposite. They're only in the present and they really don't want to be in the past. They really don't want to be in the future. Right now, how do I feel right now? I want to act right now and act and think in my feelings that are right now, right? So they're not going to be, thinking of, wait a minute, this pattern that I'm noticing from the past. And she's not thinking about like what happened last week or what's going to happen tomorrow, the next day. She's thinking about right now. I want to have fun right now. So you want to pull them out of the present moment and plant seeds and future project in the future. So what I would do to future project, let's just say you're a Vegas example, girl's in town and she's from St. George. It's actually a very common example. You just randomly go, wait a minute, do you ski? You're not a skier, are you? Please tell me you snowboard. Just like something like that, where it's like kind of playful banter, teasing back and forth. It's like teasing, banter, all back and forth, and with tonality. And she's like, yeah, no, I ski. Why? Do you not? Are you one of those people that don't like skiing? I'd be like, no, I don't like hate them. I don't like despise them, but whatever. Why? So you ski. That's cool. That's awesome. Like, see, I'm playful. It's like, I'm exaggerating. I didn't like backtrack on what I said, but I also didn't like, oh no, skiing's great. I'm like kind of playing with her. So you can do that. And then she gets some buy-in. She's like, no, I ski. He's like, well, what do you go like skiing once a year? Have you been skiing the past like 5 years once? She's like, I go skiing twice every month with my friends, with my dad, whatever it is. And you're like, shut up. So you're actually pretty good. Like you change your state to like, yeah, you probably never go. And you're like, wait a minute, you're actually pretty good. Do you do like terrain park? Do you like backflips? What do you do? She's like, no, I don't do that. I do like the double black diamonds. And you're like, shut the fuck up. This is a fun conversation we're having right now. And I go, wait a minute, have you been to Mount Charleston before? There's like a mountain over there in Vegas. She's like, no. I'm like, you haven't? Shut up. How have you not been there? You're in Vegas quite often, right? You live like an hour away. Yeah, I'm all the time. I feel like there are no mountains in St. George. There are none. Yeah, I have to go up to Salt Lake City and Park City to actually go to a mountain. Yeah, that's farther away than freaking Mount Charleston, isn't it? And she's like, I don't think so. And I'm like, I kind of do think so. I think like, because from St. George to here, I hope St. George is right. I think that's the city that I'm thinking of. St. George to here is like, what, an hour and 15? And St. George to Park City is what, like 2.5 hours? It's significantly closer, isn't it? And she's like, what? It can't be. And then like, I know more geographically about her own city than she does. How funny is that? And it's like some odd, obscure town. And she's like, wow, how is it? I didn't know that. How is it closer than blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, so how have you not been to Mount Charleston? And now I didn't say, we should go to Mount Charleston sometime. I didn't say that yet. I'm just making her qualify about skiing. I'm setting it up, setting the foundation up to then say at the end, we should go to Mount Charleston sometime. I'm setting it up to say, I didn't say that yet, but I'm setting it up. You see how like I'm dragging it out? She's like, oh my God, where are we going? This is a journey and I'm on Corey's magic carpet ride. I don't know where it's going, but it feels fun. I like it so far. That's what we're doing, because as Because men, we want to go right to the ending. We want to skip right to the ending of the movie. What happened? Females, they love the journey and the feelings and what, oh my God, what is he going to say? I can't believe he said that. Oh my God, we're crying now. Oh, I remembered my story of my dad when I was a kid and this happened, blah, blah, blah. But now we're laughing. But like they want the whole like experience, right? It's fun. It's cute. It's feminine. It's just not what dudes want. So they're like, I don't like that. Girls are feminine. She doesn't like that you watch football either. You drink beer. She hates that. Cool. We both have shit we hate about the opposite sex. Good. Get used to it. Well, I'm doing this whole journey of like skiing, Mount Charleston, distance, blah, blah, blah. And then, wait, would you want to go sometime? I'm pulling up photos of like the fucking mountain of Mount Charleston is pretty sick. And she's like, yeah, it is cool. Yeah, fresh powder last weekend. She's like, really? I had like no idea. I'm like, yeah, of course. Powder every freaking weekend. Would you want to go sometime? I just took like 10 minutes to get here. What do you think she's going to say? It's almost impossible for her to say no, right? Because she's like, yeah, it is closer. You're right. She's almost agreed like I should be going there. And then I'm like, would you want to go sometime? Like, what is she going to say? No, of course. Sure. Sick. And that's all I needed. That's all I need. The future projection complete. That's it. She essentially said, yes, I want to see you at a later date for this thing that's kind of an investment, kind of a trip, a trek. I go to Mount Charleston for the day. That's quite a bit of an investment in time and logisticals and physical investment, all the things. So she just agreed to it. We don't ever have to do it, but she agreed to it. That's the most important part. So she agreed to the future projection, right? That's huge. And she's actually bought in. It could be the most boring shit in the entire world that you don't care about. You just need her to be bought in. That's all you care about. It could be so stupid of like making a drink. We got these little circle ice cubes recently. It's like a ball sphere ice cube they do in some bars, like some upscale bars. They have like these weird shapes of ice cubes. It could be about checking out the fucking ice cubes. Because what if she's a bartender and she loves that ice? She's never seen a sphere ice cube before. Like, and you get her bought into it. Oh, you've never seen it before? It's so cool. It's awesome with drinks. It makes it like way more better. It tastes better as well. She's like, no, it doesn't. Yeah, it does. It tastes better because you use a different kind of water and it has to be distilled because if it's not distilled, it's not clear ice. She's like, really? And then now she's like excited to see the fucking sphere ice cube. It could be the stupidest little thing. Whatever she's invested in or whatever she's like enthusiastic about, that's what you want to build investment about doing together. Paint and sip, playing pickleball, going snowboarding, whatever it is, taking photos, going on a hike, whatever it is. That's what you want to build investment about, build future project about. So you can future project. Let's go on a hike sometime. Let's go snowboarding sometime. Let's play pickleball sometime. She goes, sure. So now she's agreed and pulled herself out of the present moment. So she's thinking of herself in the future. Now you should be doing that anyways, regardless of them having good logistics or not, because that builds trust in the moment. And that's just kind of what you should be doing anyways, like making plans to see her in the future. She's cool. You like her. Why not make plans to see her in the future? It doesn't have to be like Thursday night, we're going to this spot, right? Or else it's not that serious. It's just like, yeah, we should do that thing sometime. And then when she says yes to that, now you future projected. Now you're pulling her into kind of the future. Even before she leaves that interaction, she's already thinking about what would it be like if we did go snowboarding? Would I like it? Would I have fun? I haven't gone with a guy before. That might be cool. He could teach me. And then now she asks questions like that. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to be very good. That's fine. We'll start on the bunny hill. And she's like, oh my God, he's so thoughtful and sweet. Like he doesn't mind going on the bunny hill with me to like learn. He's like, no, I could teach. People have said I'm a pretty good teacher. And she's like, well, I went last time with my friends and they got to the top and then they just like left me and they skied right down. And I'm like, they did? Are they still your friends? She's like, yeah, they are. They just, they wanted to ski, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, gotcha. No, I definitely wouldn't do that. She's like, oh, that's so sweet. And then now she's like, her fear of like you being upset at her for not being that good is now dissipated. Whether you go or not doesn't matter at all. What kind of dude would be so sweet and like see the future, your foresight, the masculine superpower of foresight. You're already seeing the future of like, she might feel a bit guilty for not being that good and kind of slowing the whole day down because she isn't good at snowboarding or skiing. And you're already reassuring her that you wouldn't be upset. It's totally fine. I want you to learn. That's the fun part. She's like, oh my God, that's so sweet. He cares. He understands. He cares about me. Doing amazing, right? So if it's bad logistics, future project, whatever it is, we should get boba tea sometime. We should get coffee at this weird coffee shop. We should go to this place and get this weird ice cream thing that they only have in Vegas. We should go to Area 51 or 15, whatever the fuck it is. Just whatever it is in the future, you're planting seeds. And then obviously when she says yes to that, what's the next logical step? How the fuck are we going to communicate? How are we going to stay in touch? Right? So at that point, it's not like the goal to get the Instagram. It's the vehicle to communicate to then do the goal, which is to snowboard. Right? So awesome. What's your IG? And then now it's like, oh, of course I'm going to give you my IG. And she's like pulling it out. She's like, no, wait, here's my IG, but also take my number. And now you're fully fucking locked in. And then guess what? Have her message you on her phone. So she starts the thread on her phone. Because later you have to anticipate like what's going to happen tomorrow. or the next day, you're going to have to message her first. And starting a thread with somebody, like starting a thread with a girl for the first time, that's kind of the most difficult part. Her to respond for the first time. Even if you saw each other in person like a day or two ago, doesn't matter. Something about a girl responding to a new dude for the first time, she's like kind of committing to like, all right, I'm showing up for this interaction, right? Whether she responds after that or you marry her, doesn't matter. It's like some commitment in their mind where like they have to choose to invest. If you already get her to do it in person when you're with her, which is the easiest time to do it, now you essentially remove that like barrier of her like deciding or not to respond to you for that first thread because she already responded to you. Back in the day, me and my wing, we would send the message for the girl and it would say like some, kind of tongue-in-cheek thing, but just be like, oh, shoot me a DM just so I don't miss it, right? That's the kind of the money line that I would say now when you're getting a girl's IG. She follows you. Very important step. You go, what's your IG? And then you kind of pat your pockets as if like you don't have your phone on you, even though your phone is in your pocket. It's pretty funny. And then she pulls out her phone and she gives it to you to type your IG into. You hit search, type your name in, click on your name, show it to her. Do not follow yourself. Extremely important. Big letters on the screen. Do not follow yourself on her phone ever. Do not do that. Too pushy. You're like controlling. You're like forcing as if she wouldn't do it on her own. Like very, very forceful. This is extremely important. This stage right here. Search, type in your name, click on your IG, give her phone back to her with your IG open on her phone. Very important. There's a path here. If she clicks follow, you're good. Then just say, shoot me a DM so I don't miss it. If she doesn't hit follow, which some girls do, like you type in your IG, give it to them. Don't follow yourself. Give it to them. They hold the phone. They look at your page for a sec, put their phone in their pocket. They don't follow you. You leave the set. You never hear from her again. And you have no contact. That's probably the worst thing in the entire world. You crush the set for like an hour. She didn't follow you back on IG. And then you don't know her IG and you don't have her phone number and you never see her again. Probably the worst thing in the entire world. So either way, say shoot me a DM so you don't miss it. That kind of removes so you don't have to worry about it. But if you see her clearly not follow you, you can also ask, what's your IG, and pull your phone out. So that way you get her Instagram even regardless of her following you. So shoot me a message so I don't miss it. Then you get the IG. She sends you a message first. You guys follow each other. All good. If the logistics are good, now we actually want to pull, right? That's now the kind of the next stage is pulling to either your place, her place, whatever it is. Now the pull is actually a lot easier than guys think. If you stick into the set till the end of the night, you'll naturally pull. It's pretty funny. You don't have to like aggressively do anything. I mean, you can. Let's just say you're at a nightclub and you want to be home by fucking 1 a.m. Yeah, you should be a little bit more tactful and strategic with like pulling before, the nightclub closes at 1:45 or in Vegas, like, way later. But what I would recommend is just stay in with the set. It's called attrition game, right? The last man standing wins. Most people, they just leave because they're like, I don't know, this isn't going anywhere. I'm going home. See you later. You just like leave the set, leave the girl. If you waited 30 minutes, you'd be in the car with her and she'd be driving you back to her place. It's that simple, right? So just stay in the set as long as you can. That's the best, most least friction, path of least resistance way to pull. It's just stay in the set with them. Very common example, her and her friend at a club and it's like 1:30, they're late, she's tired, her friend wants to get food and she's like, okay, we're gonna get food. I mean, wait, Sandra, where do you want to go? As if like asking that question will make her be like, you know what, never mind, I don't want food anymore. It's like one decision, they just like call quits. But she's like, I don't know, what do I want? I kind of want pancakes. Where can we get pancakes at 2 a.m. in Vegas? And I'm like, I have a list of 5 places we can go to. Usually Peppermill is the spot after club, but whatever the girl wants, like, this place right here, they have the best pancakes, they have the best eggs, they have the best steak and eggs, whatever it is that the girl is craving. They have the best pizza, secret pizza. They have the best pizza. You haven't been before? No way. What? How have you not been? This girl hasn't been to secret pizza. You can make it a big stink if their buying temperature is high and they like react more to teases. But then like you're the person who can maybe solve the problem, which is like she wants pizza. She wants like some bomb ass pizza. Like, have you been to secret pizza? And she's like, no. Like, oh, we gotta go. You want to go now? And she's like, looks at her friend. I guess. And you're like, okay, let's do it. And then you're like, okay. And like arm in arm with the girl or just walk out and then you're good. Get in the car, whether it's your car, her car. They probably drove, or if one was a DD or they Ubered and you drove whatever Uber to the place, get the food and then just stick in there. Like, what do you think's going to happen after food? They're going to want to go to bed or go back to their house to like relax, maybe have another drink or play a game. I don't know, like whatever you can do back at her apartment or yours, whatever it is, that'll be the next kind of logical step, or logistical step that they would do anyways. Now, you can pull back to your place if you have a cool view, if you have some drinks, if you have a dog or a cat. Those are what we call seeding the pools. If you want to seed the pool to go back to your place, you say more drinks. You guys want to have more shots? You guys want more drinks? You guys want to see my cat? You guys want to see my dog? You guys want to see the view? You got to see the view. The view is awesome. Let's just say you live at some like cool, penthouse. Now, I wouldn't say that immediately. I would be building up the investment, which is like, you guys want to see the view? Again, that's what we call it, seeding the pool. We seed it first before we actually go for the pool. So seeding the pool would be like, you want to see the view at my place? Or you want to see Snickers, my cat? You want to see Scooby, my dog? You show her that, and she's like, yeah, of course. Well, you have a dog? You're like, yeah. And you show him, he's like a French bulldog. She's like, oh my God, I love Frenchies. You're like, shut the fuck up. You do? No way. You have a dog? She's like, no, but I've always wanted one. And you're like, really? And he's like, he's so cute. And she's like looking at him like, he's adorable. Oh my God, you would love him. I bet I would. Is he a boy? Yeah, he's a boy dog. Oh my God, I love boy dogs, especially Frenchies. They're so blah, blah, blah. I'm like, we're building up the investments. We're just planting all the seeds, waiting for them to grow. And then an hour or two later, after food, what am I going to say? You guys want to meet Scooby? Who's going to say no to that? They're in Vegas, or they're like in the buying temperature spike. They're somewhat energy at that point, right? Her friend might be like, sure, you have a dog? Cool. Often the girl's like, I'm going to go home, right? Their friend goes home because again, it's so funny. The opposite is probably what most guys think. I have to isolate the girl and like get her away from her friends. No. Bring the friends in. They're going to want to go home at some point. Once they get the attention and it didn't give them what they thought it did, or they got enough attention and they don't need any more, they're like, okay, I'm good. I'm gonna leave you guys alone. And then she just has a little talk with her friend, like in sign language, just looking at each other, essentially being like, are you good? Do you trust him? You like him? He's okay? You sure? All right, call me if you need me. Okay, I'll just text me. I'll be right there. So once they have that conversation, she's like, I'm actually gonna go home. And then boom, you're good. That's it. Like, that's how simple it is. There's obviously other different scenarios, but that'll get you pretty far. If you just watch this entire video, I know it's a long video, but you just downloaded like probably a decade of what would have taken you hundreds and hundreds of hours of like infield, going out, wasting time, messing up the next day, right? Because you're out late, your next day is completely screwed. You're off circadian rhythm, sleep, didn't get enough food, rejection, feeling all these like feelings inside of you, whatever it is. So that was kind of a manifesto breakdown of cold approach and really the basics, the 80% of what you need to know. I can go way more in detail of like the advanced stuff, but that's essentially all you really need to know to get pretty freaking far with cold approach. Now, the problem is, unless you're willing to go out and hit the pavement, try to pull or do all the things I talked about for, by the way, that's like 3 hours in a night, 2 hours, 3 hours in a night. If you find a set that actually sticks, right? Ideally, you do like 2-3 sets that last like a long time. You really shouldn't be going to the club and opening 50 girls as like an exercise to like practice, sure. But realistically, you'd be talking to like a few different sets, maybe 2, 3, maybe even 1 for a few hours per night, because that's how long it takes to build the investment. You should be deep comfort within like 30-40 minutes in an interaction. But the problem is, the next day, if nothing happened that night, you didn't pull, where are you guys going to communicate? Nobody thinks of this as a man who's learning cold approach or like wanting to do any sort of cold approach. If you want to do a sustainable cold approach, some sort of method that you actually integrate cold approach into your game, how do you think you're going to communicate with a girl when you don't pull that same night? Even if you do, how are you going to stay in touch with her? A phone number, she's never going to respond to your phone number. She's going to forget who you are within a day. But there's a great book on like the shallows, what the internet's doing to our brain. That was written, a decade ago, maybe more. TikTok has ruined everyone's brain. There's a Gen Z stare that everyone roasts Gen Z about, of how like offline their like thinking brain is to communicate with the social interaction. Like, it is on steroids now, of like people having TikTok brains and losing focus and getting distracted, forgetting, wanting the next shiny novel object, the shiny toy right in front of us. If you have a phone number, she's going to forget who you are in 2 seconds. She's going to barely remember the night out, because there's so many of those nights out that she's having. And the next day when she sees your unsaved contact in her iMessage, hopefully if you have an iPhone, she's going to be like, who is this again? Oh, remember that guy that we got like pizza with last week? I think it was him. What did he look like again? Like, that's the conversation between her and her friend. She could completely forget who you are if you get a number. What's the only method of communication that you actually need to use to communicate with her? Instagram. Because now she actually can see the attractive qualities about you, which are your lifestyle and your status. Your looks don't really matter. It's 10%. Out of the whole pie of the percentages of what matters, your looks are 10%. And like, you probably will be like, Corey, that's not true. How dare you say that? Because you care about her looks. You do. You care about her looks about 70% of what makes you attracted to a girl. 70% of why you're attracted to a female is looks. 20% of why you're attracted to her is her feminine, warm nature, personality. And then 10% is status of how she'll look standing next to you. What will people think of you if she's next to you, like with you, holding hands? Right? That's the breakdown of how you're attracted to her. If you're 70% attracted to her looks, you obviously are going to think that she's 70% attracted to your looks. But it doesn't work like that. Right? That's just like classic projection. If you've taken psychology 101, she's not attracted to your looks primarily at all. Right? And girls might even say, oh yeah, I like a guy in a suit. I like a guy with brown hair. Neat. Go look at her last 3 boyfriends. Let's see if any of those 3 boyfriends are anything like her ideal man that she thinks she's attracted to. What do you want to be, the ideal that she's never dated or her last 3 boyfriends? Right? I guarantee you the last 3 boyfriends, if she's an attractive girl, they gave her a pretty badass lifestyle, right? They probably were pretty cool, pretty high status. They maybe weren't the most attractive dude, probably not physically, but they definitely were, they gave her the lifestyle that she was attracted to. So the second she leaves your presence, everything changes. Comparison mode activates. She has a Rolodex of men. She's attractive. Dozens of men that are trying to get in her, DMs and, pull her home per day, per week, maybe more, depending on the girl and the stimulus level and how much exposure she has to men. So comparison mode activates, meaning she compares you with other men immediately. She forgets your face. She forgets kind of the feeling of what she felt that night, because that's how she really remembers you. It was like, how did I feel around him? How did his presence make me feel? Right, so there's really no more emotions that like, oh, remember the emotion I felt 3 weeks ago? No. There's no more buying temperature spike. So the joke you said that she laughed at, she doesn't remember that anymore. Right? She doesn't even remember like, oh, I like how he makes me feel. Because that was like 2 weeks ago. She forgot your face. She forgot your name probably. Didn't even save the contact if you're on iMessage, right? And she'll easily forget you. If there's no actual visual representation, again, TikTok brain, we're talking to a girl with a TikTok brain. Everybody does, but especially her specifically in this case. You're on TikTok. Do you remember the video from 20 swipes ago on TikTok? Do you remember the video from 3 swipes ago on TikTok? Of course not. You forget immediately. That's what the girl's thinking. That's how the girls are kind of conditioned nowadays. A lot of stimulus, novelty, and just like whatever makes me feel good in the moment. That's how to get their attention. It's like, what makes me feel good now? Novel, in front of my face, exciting, fun. That's what her brain does after she leaves the bar or the club or Starbucks, right? She goes into TikTok brain. Now, really what happened was a monumental shift in 2017, 18. Instagram launched their own version of the stories, which we all know now, stories, highlights. Back in the day, Instagram didn't have videos. It didn't have stories. So it was really split between Snapchat and Instagram. So you would use both Snapchat for videos and stories, which worked well to gain girls, and then Instagram for photos. So on 2017, I think it was late maybe in the year, they launched stories on Instagram, and then everybody wants Instagram. And then Instagram became that new dating app where every girl checked out dudes and they blew themselves up on Instagram. Girls started posting thirst traps, their bodies, their faces, and girls really understood at a very innate level that you have to go very viral or popular on Instagram, and then you'll get maximum attention from men, and then you'll get whatever you want. You get the lifestyle, you get the high status dudes, right? Men just like barely are now realizing, wait a minute, Instagram is like what girls are looking at to determine if I'm valuable or not. They're not even at like the solution aware, right? This problem aware, solution aware. They're still at like, this is a problem. Hold on a second. It's pretty funny. So now the only people using Snapchat are middle schoolers and like fickle girls with, zero accountability. So Instagram became the cheat code that we never had back in 2015, 14, 2005, whatever it was. So your Instagram now is your new dating resume. Women want to feel your energy. They want to see your life. They want to see your lifestyle, right? They want to creep your entire life, all your photos, where you've been, comments, your followers. They want to see everything. But the number one thing they're looking for is your lifestyle. 70% of what a girl is attracted to in a man is his lifestyle. What does his life contain? And she's thinking in the most selfish way. If I joined his life, if I got on his train, right, would my life get better? Would it get more exciting? Would I have more fun? Would I feel more safe? Right? That is what she's thinking. She's joining your life, yes or no? How do you think you create polarity? Do things without her. You have your train is moving without her. She decides if she wants to hop on or not, right? That's kind of the polarity, is like doing, what you want to do and how you don't need her reassurance or approval. So the girls are getting to know you based on your photos, your content, your stories. In her mind, you've almost already been on a date, even before you met up. A lot of girls, if you ask them, if they're actually being honest with you and transparent, before they go on a date with a guy, they're doing a full FBI investigation mode. Everyone knows that and kind of like, oh yeah, I've heard that before. Do you understand if she finds things she doesn't like, she ghosts the guy? I don't think guys or people understand how serious the FBI investigation is. If she finds things she doesn't like on your Instagram, Instagram, she's going to ghost you. Even though she said yes to the date in person, or whenever she said yes to the date, if she goes on your Instagram, stalks you, goes through your tag photos, your highlights, your stories, all your posts, your comments, your likes, who you're following. So go through your following, so people that you follow, click on a bunch of girls, if not every single girl, and then go to their most recent posts and look at their likes, look at their comments, see if you're in their likes. If she sees you liking OnlyFans girls' photos or any girl's photos, that is demerits against you, right? You're already embarrassing her even before she went on the first date. That is extremely important. I don't think guys realize if like this girl agreed to a date in 2 days. 2 days happened, she didn't respond. They're like, oh well. I'm like, well, that could have been your fucking wife. And what happened there? What happened in her mind to then ghost you? It wasn't just like, oh, bad luck. No. It's your fault somehow. And like I say it in an aggressive way, like it's your fault somehow. You want it to be your fault because you have fucking control of it now. Now you actually can do something about it to fix it. You want it to be your fault. If it's not your fault, it's up to fate. What are you, girl? Oh, it's up to the universe. The moon was in Pisces, so everybody was crazy that day and it was chaos. Is that how you want to live your life? Like up to fate? No, you want to control over shit. What happened when she saw your Instagram in her FBI investigation mode before the date? What did she find that she didn't like that made her ghost you? How is that not fascinating for you to find out? It should be. If you ask a girl and she's actually honest with you, she'll tell you, oh yeah, I know everything about him. By the way, she maybe never met him before. Hinge date, that's like this Thursday and it's Tuesday. She's like, oh yeah, I know everything about him. I know where he went on vacation in the summer of 2010 with his family. And they like pride themselves on this too. It's pretty funny. It's super cute too, because it's like you care that much to like know all the things, because they're looking where you invest your emotional investment. What kind of man are you? What does it say about you? And they're not like logging data and then making like inferences based on the data points and data collection, like machine learning, all this kind of stuff. They're just seeing all of it. And then how do I feel seeing that? Good or bad? Like that's how simple it can kind of break down to. I saw this photo of him with his ex in a tagged photo. How do I feel about that? Do you think good? No, probably not. I saw this photo of random lascivious girls on his post, on his feed. How do I feel about that? I don't feel special at all. Don't feel chosen. I don't really know him at all. I have no idea what his presence feels like in person. And I already have this competition with really lascivious girls that I don't relate to. Do I like that? No. So I'm going to ghost him, right? That's how simple it is. But if she sees cool lifestyle, traveling, like luxury places, right? You dress well, cool photos, they're high quality, right? You're looking away from the camera. You look like a cinematic action movie. You look like a cinematic hero in your photos. It looks clean. There's no clutter behind you. There's no tourists. There's no weirdos behind you. People, right? You're not in this like touristy area. There's none of that on your page. It's clean, high status, polished, and your lifestyle looks like a fucking movie. Do you think she's going to want to join that? Do you think she's curious about like what's going on here? Who is this guy? Do you think she's not going to be fueled with curiosity after the FBI investigation is over? Of course she is, right? So even if you do the best cold approach in the entire world, you reach almost mastery level. You watch this video on repeat for the next like 3 weeks, and you implement all of it. Even if you do all of that, it doesn't matter, because the next day, after the cold approach happened, the next day, she forgets all of that. All the moments dissipate. Like I said earlier, the TikTok brain resets. It's almost like the Men in Black flash, like reset. She wakes up, next day, has to go to school, has to go to work, forgets everything, talks to her friend, doesn't save your contact info, or she sees your Instagram and it's basic as fuck. Boring. And then Chad comes along and his Instagram looks like this. All of a sudden, Chad beat you and she hasn't met Chad yet. That's how quick you are forgotten about. And you might be in your mind like, well, I tried so much. I put so much effort. I talked for 3 hours. I was leading. I was being funny. I was breaking rapport. I remembered all these things. And we went to Peppermill and we did that. And I paid. And then we went back to her house. And then we went back to my house and she met Scooby. And I drove her home in the morning. And like, how does she not remember all that? Because she's done that dozens and dozens and dozens of times with her friends or with other guys. That's just the reality. It's happened multiple times. She has a very full life. She wants to experience a lot. Girls love experiences. Whenever they're in a new place, a new experience, they're feeling all the feelings, and girls are extremely emotional. So they want to be feeling things quite often, maybe novel things, right? So it happens a lot. You're easily forgotten. Without future projecting, obviously you'll be forgotten immediately. But Instagram, your presence, your profile, it refreshes her memory of, oh shit, this guy's cool. I remember this guy. He has a really cool lifestyle. Instagram is the visual static representation. Your profile, your lifestyle, your status is always visible. It's a billboard that she can check out every single day. And if you're communicating on Instagram, now she's constantly getting a hit, a dose of dopamine. She's getting a hit, a dose, a status dose, slap in the face of who you are every single time she sees your profile. Your profile photo, if it looks masculine and high quality, she's going to see that every time she's messaging you. You put a story up, she's going to be watching it. She's experiencing you and feeling you through literally the story. It sounds so stupid, but you're not a girl. You don't know how they feel. feel and how they experience men. If they're watching your stories, they're emotionally investing. They can make up all the excuses in the book. Oh, I just tap the phone because I have OCD. That's your excuse. You have OCD, which obviously is a disorder, which you probably should get checked out. No. Why am I in the top story anyways? That means you're on my profile often. If I'm in your top story, which is even funnier when they don't follow you and they're watching your story like consistently, that's even funnier. That means you're on my profile quite often. And then when you watch my story, I see you in the top of the Instagram story views, meaning you're on my profile very often. That's how Instagram ranks the people in your story views. The higher to the top, the more engaging they are with your profile. Even if they don't like a single photo, how much time they've spent on your photos, your carousels, your posts, your highlights, all this stuff. So anyway, having the badass Instagram, you don't need to do any cold approach like that, right? Any girl that goes to your page, they're getting to know you through your posts, your stories. They're feeling the lifestyle, the status. You're already in her mind. She's already essentially on a date with you when she's on your page. Like, you probably never seen a girl actually check out a dude on his Instagram. It is pretty wild when you see it. Like, she's going through tag photos, is following, things that you would never think they do, because guess what? They're not going to tell you. Why would they give away their secrets? If they told you like, hey, I've been through every single highlight that you've ever posted up. I've gone through every single post in your entire Instagram back to 2014. I've opened every girl that you follow, and I've looked at their top 9 photos to see if you've liked or commented on any of their photos. If they told you that, that is the maximum, almost maximum amount of emotional investment they can give you, right? Is that they care so much about you and who you are that I've stalked every part of your life online. If they told you that, that's like showing their cards forever for like the rest of their life, right? That is extreme intent and investment that they're showing you. Why else would they be doing that unless they're very interested in you and curious and want to get to know you more and, you know, like you. So let's just say she stalks you before the date. When she finally sees you in person and she stalked the fuck out of you and your profile's badass, she's like shocked. It's almost like meeting an idol. It's not the same thing as meeting like Brad Pitt, but it's very similar. If you've ever followed somebody on Instagram for like a while, let's just say a year, and then you see them in person, it's kind of like, whoa, it's you. I feel like I know you really well, but you've never met me. That's a weird feeling, right? For you to have. That's what she has. It's a good feeling because she's like, she's getting butterflies. She's anxious. She's nervous. She's like excited that you are going to be making her feel special for the next 2.5 hours on a date. And you chose her. You want to take her out. You want to court her. She wants to be around you and feel your presence and your energy. But when she meets you in person, she's already built this crazy perception. Again, personal brand perception in her mind of who you are. And it's very positive. A lot of questions, a lot of mystery, which if you know anything about female psychology, mystery is very good for creating polarity and intrigue, her investment, all the things. So essentially what happens is after the cold approach, let's go back to the cold approach example. After the cold approach, when she goes home and she wakes up the next morning, 2 p.m., she's hungover, she's on Instagram or TikTok. Now you've transitioned from one fun night with this random dude from excess to I'm comparing this man on Instagram, ideally, hopefully if you got her Instagram, to every other man I know. Because if she's single, she's talking to multiple men. They always are. They'll never tell you. If you ask her directly, she won't like deny it, but they'll never tell you like, oh yeah, I'm talking to 10 men at the same time right now. But they'll be mad at you for talking to 2 females at the same time that aren't responding to you. Pretty funny, right? They're always talking to men, so they're going to be comparing you. Girls are hypergamous by nature, meaning they always want the top tier man that they can get. They always want the higher status man. Let's just say you're a 6 out of 10 man and you're dating a 6 out of 10 girl for 3 years and you're loyal, you guys love each other, you want to plan to whatever the fuck. And then a 7 walks along. You're like, yeah, I notice her. Sure, it's like novel, feminine, but I'm loyal to my girl. I have my girl right here. I'm good. I don't need another one that's like slightly physically better from the surface, which might actually be deceiving when when the clothes come off. I'm good. I'm loyal. I don't need anything else. I don't need a 8 even, or even a 9 or 10. Like, good chance she's OnlyFans, bottle girl, like some sort of hired gun industry, ton of male attention, stimulus, super high attraction, probably daddy issues. The list goes on. Now I'm good with my 6. I'm good with my 7. Let's just call her a 7. The girl you're dating is a 7. You're like, no, I'm good. I don't need anybody else. However, a girl who's a 7 and you're a 7 and then an 8 man comes around, guess what she's thinking? She's not thinking, I'm loyal to my man forever. I will die. Then, date up because some man is slightly better in status and lifestyle. No, she's kind of like, is that a McLaren? Is that Gucci? Is that a Miri? She's looking. She's interested. She's curious. I'm not saying she's going to cheat on you, but still, if you're not a man who has polarity and again, safety at the same time and constantly growing socially in your work, financially, all the things, if the polarity is not maxed out or at least very high, like 8 to 10 to 10 out of 10, and the safety's high, let's just say the polarity is like 2. This is every marriage ever. This is like the craziest. I'm going way too advanced here. Let's just say the polarity is like 2, meaning you don't really do much without her, right? You kind of always wait for her. You're very, very very available for her. Whenever she wants to see you, you're there. She's very entitled. And the safety's high, kind of high, because she knows you're never going to cheat. You're never going to leave her, right? She can pretty much control you. She can walk all over you. She can, any feeling she has always just supersedes your, whatever. You never resolve anything. There's no real boundaries from you. So that's kind of high safety, because even then they don't really feel safe to like trust you with their feelings and, not need reassurance, but it's pretty high safety. But the polarity is 2. If an 8 comes around and you're a 7, or if you're a 6 or 7, if you have low polarity with the girl and you're like an 8 out of 10 with safety, she's looking at the other man because you have low polarity, you have low attraction with your own girl. I don't care how long you've been dating for her for, a year, 5 years, 10 years, 2 decades, whatever. If you have low polarity, like 2 out of 10, and the safety is like 8 out of 10, she'll be looking at more men. She'll be looking at other men. That's when eyes wander. That's when she's like, ooh, who's this guy? This guy at the gym was looking at me. This guy at work was looking at me. This guy at whatever, Starbucks, and I was in line, he was looking at me, and I looked back. I received, and I kind of liked it, right? Now, there's always like it's going to happen no matter what. But there's a difference between when there's no polarity with her, with her and her man, when it's like low polarity, even high safety. She is way more receptive and willing to receive that attention. Rather than like if she was high polarity, she might see a dude looking at her. And like any person looking at you, when you're in a relationship, it's like, yeah, it's good to feel desired by like a novel thing, but like nothing will ever happen. Like I'm noticing it, but like nothing will happen. Like, I love my man. I'm good. But if the polarity is low, now that whole I feel desired, I haven't felt that way in a long time from somebody who has polarity, the new novel man who looks masculine. Right now she's looking up like to the 8 out of 10 guy, comparing him to you, which may be 6 out of 10, maybe 5 out of 10, because she doesn't rate you on your physical appearance. She rates you on a myriad of things: status, again, polarity, safety, lifestyle, all the things. So again, girls are hypergamous. They're always comparing you, and you could lose your rank very quick. You might be a 10 one day, the next day you're a 2 very quickly. It's insane how quick the polarity can dissipate. You give her the ick. You need reassurance on some cringy shit. You're like crying in front of her, and you're like expressing this like trauma dumping to her with you haven't like solved the problem yourself first. Man, your polarity can go to 0 real quick, and you're always available. 0. Boom. And that's when the cheating happens. That's when the eyes wandering. That's when she emotionally cheats, all this stuff. Anyway, so back to the cold approach, right? The next day after the cold approach, 2 p.m., she's on her phone. She's in comparison mode now. She's comparing you. The only thing she really has to remember you is a faint, distant emotion, which she's already kind of got over and already forgot about. The only thing is your Instagram, your profile on Instagram. What does it look like compared to other men? Are you more high status? Do you have a cooler lifestyle, right? Do these photos look high quality? Do you have access to scarce resources? Do you have social proof, right? Are you resourceful? Pre-selection, the myriad of things that are actually attractive to a female. Do you have polarity, right? Are you a high polarity man? Yes or no? Are you doing things that she would love to join? Would her life get better if she were to join your life? Yes or no? If it's a no, you lost the competition. She responds to the other man. She gives the other man her attention and her focus, which is again what you want. So you're competing with other male models, athletes, other men she knows, fuckboys that are in her DMs. The only way to beat them is by showing your lifestyle, your status, all the things I talked about earlier: scarce resources, social proof, pre-selection, right? Going to cool places, high status lifestyle situations, infinity pools, laptops, dinners, anything she aspires to. I don't care if you take a church girl who loves her family and has never left her hometown. She still aspires to do some luxurious things sometimes. She might be like, oh, I don't want to expect anything, and it's okay, we don't have to. You think she doesn't want to go to fucking Armeniara, Turks and Caicos? You think she doesn't want to go to St. Regis once to see what it feels like? Of course she does. Absolutely. So without Instagram, even a perfect cold approach dies in her DMs, because the next day you need to continue the conversation. If you have nothing, no lifestyle, no status, no posts, you lose the comparison game and she doesn't respond to you. It happens all the time. And guys just don't want to talk about the 10 girls that they got the numbers of yesterday, right? But for some reason, I don't hear about them the next day. Back in the day when we go out, you told me you got 10 numbers last night, right? You were all braggadocious about 10 numbers. But then the next day, I didn't hear anything about those 10 numbers. I don't remember you. And then the next day, I didn't hear anything else about those 10 numbers. Or the next day, I didn't hear about the other. And then I ask a week later, I'm like, hey, dude, so what happened with those girls last week? And they go, what do you mean? I'm like, are you seeing them again? And they're like, oh, no, let's go out this weekend. We'll go to this club. And I'm like, so where'd they go? Like, did they all just ghost you? And that's what happens. Girls just ghost guys, and they want to act like it never happened. Hope nobody asks that the 10 girls that I got all the numbers of, right? I got all those 10 girls' numbers. They never responded to me. Please don't ask about it. I want to just do it again, though, and keep spinning my wheels, get no results, no girls, no girlfriend ever. It's pretty funny because you would see the same people out over and over again in the clubs. Like, I would be in Vegas. We would teach our students, clients in the club a couple times a week. Excess, Omnia, Hakkasan, EBC, wherever it is. And you would see the same like other distant kind of like, you know, PUAs that like are trying to do pickup that weren't actually in RSD or, you know, with me and Luke. They weren't training with Luke under Vegas Immersion. And you'd be like, dude, you've been in like doing cold approach in GA for like, I've seen you for 6 years. And like, I've never seen you with a girl outside of a set in the club. I'm like, that's a problem. Like, that's a huge problem. Like, what is going on? And we're like, you're in the nightclub and it's like, it's just like game mode and try to like, you know, do these weird high buying temperature spikes, flash game, they call it. And then nothing ever happens. Aren't you tired of that? And it's like, no, people are just a habit of, they want to just keep doing the routine, even if they don't have actually any tangible results. That's the complete system: investment game, cold approach, opening, break rapport, comfort building, qualifying, escalating, and all the things you're going to be dealing with for logistical questions, every single thing on one video. If you watch this one video, watch it multiple times, because this is literally 10 years of what it took me living with the top pickup coaches, coaching, training, working with them, learning every single day. I moved to Vegas. I lived in almost every single city in the entire country for over half a decade, over 3 years traveling nonstop. And this took me 10 years, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then working with, which no one else on the planet had the proximity to these people other than me. I had the best setup because I'm like business partners and also videographer, filmmaker, and editor. So I am kind of, it's warranted for me to be in every room almost at all times, and all the top coaches and the pickup artists and whatever meetings and training and the CEOs, everything. So I was always around all the top dogs, always. So just learning and listening, osmosis, all the things. And like a lot of people, you're just like, I see your angle, I see what you're doing. And you learn all the coaches, they all have their specialty in game. And it's like, I don't really want to live your life at all or get the results you have, but I like this skill set that you've dialed in, right? With text game, or with being, you know, the verbal game, or the tonality, or non-reactive, self-amusing, or whatever it is. What I did was I took all the top coaches, PUAs, and they're all good at one thing, kind of really specifically, whether it's verbal tonality or, you know, self-amusement, investment game. They're all, or opening, right? Follow the process, non-reactive, whatever it is, taking all of their skill sets that you just take away and learn from, and then putting that methodology into one, which is what I'm teaching you right now. That's what I've had the opportunity to do. And I'm super grateful for all that, obviously, because it's, you know, life-changing information, which is one of a kind. But yeah, anyway, that's what all the top dating coaches won't teach you at all. Even in their course content, even if you go on the boot camp, like they'll never be able to teach you at all what I just taught you in this video. Not even close. This is a confluence of like 15 different top dating coaches and pickup artists in the entire world that I've lived with, learned from, trained and coached with, built their products, I've spent more time with some pickup artists than their own family has. Again, I've lived with multiple of them. So to wrap this all up, unique cold approach, that's the foundation of just being a man, knowing how to lead and then attracting girls in person, the OG way, right? The old fashioned way. But the new style, the PhD of modern game that no one really has now, is how to leverage your Instagram and use it as kind of your weapon, I guess, in the dating world. Because every girl's checking your Instagram. How many girls did you lose out on? How many attractive girls did you not go on a date with? Like our members in our program, Adam went on 20 dates in 6 weeks.
How many dates do you think you went on and throughout the course of the program? Like new dates?
20 probably.
Really?
6 weeks.
6 weeks, 20 days?
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
I mean, I had 5. I had to start doubling them up, right?
In the same day?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Another guy, Dan, went on 18 dates in like 8 weeks.
I'm happy with where I'm at. It was like September 20th. Since then, I've been on 14 dates and I have 4 more scheduled. So like,
that's so funny.
There was one guy, Christopher, that went on 6 dates in 5 days.
I think I went on like 6 dates.
Nice. Say it again, 6 days and 5 days?
5 days. Like at one point, I went on a date with 2 chicks at the same time.
Another guy, Christian, 3 weeks into our program, he has like 50 matches on Hinge and it's like 30 Instagrams within 3 weeks into the program. Kelvin, I think I went on 5 dates in a week.
31 different girls with Instagrams, and then I've got like 120 matches. I've got one tonight and one tomorrow. I mean, there's only so many nights you can go on dates. If there were more nights, like I could go on more.
Ray, 7 dates in a week.
I literally think I've gone on a date every night for the past 7 days. So
wow. Cecil, 2 girls in a weekend. He's like 50 in the middle of Utah.
1 or 2 dates to 3 or 4 dates a week, texting like 5, 6 women. I was having a hard time keeping them. So I'm gonna have to build a goddamn spreadsheet.
Moomin got over 800 matches on dating apps.
106.
Tinder.
702. Too many.
Yeah, how are you gonna have the time to go through all these?
Dude, I'm not. I'm just like, I'm kind of like taking a break.
Because we build not only their Instagram, but also the dating profile at the same time with the high status, high quality, lifestyle driven content. By the way, 60% of newly engaged or married couples met online. So the world is changing. It's no longer cold approach. There's no longer you meet in person like the good old fashioned days. Again, 60% of newly married or engaged couples met online. That is insane. That is absurd. That's early 2025. That study came out. So if you want help building your Instagram by me and my team personally to turn it into an Instagram dating funnel where we can now leverage your Instagram to do all the passive attraction and comfort building that you need to do to actually make girls say yes to the date, especially online. In person, it will crush. It's just like your secret weapon. When girls find your Instagram, they're like, holy fuck, I'm blown away by this guy's lifestyle and status. They'll stalk everything. And of course they want to see you again. Of course they're going to remember you. Your profile, which she can visually see the next day, the next day, the next day, is light years ahead of every other guy that she's ever seen. So in person, it will crush. And then online, which is the most difficult. Imagine you're a girl and this dude that you don't know that's like physically stronger than you. You don't know him at all. He wants to pick you up and take you on a date. Would you just say yes? No, you'd be like, no, who the fuck is this guy? Like, I need to feel safe before I go anywhere with any guy. Even like meeting him at the bar or at a dinner, whatever it is. Like, I don't know who he is. What if he's a serial killer? What if he's a beta male? And they're almost like equally as bad if he's a serial killer or beta male. It's almost the same level of like ick. It's almost the same level of ick. So online, and you've never met that person. How do you make her say, yes, I want to meet him in person? Because that's pretty freaking insane for a girl that doesn't know you, that you're physically stronger, you're bigger. She doesn't know you from a hole in the wall. Her to say, yes, I'll meet you on a date in 2 days at night at a bar. Like, that's pretty wild. If your daughter was like, hey dad, I'm going on a date with this guy I met online on Tuesday. We're meeting at a bar at 8 p.m. You would be like, no, you're not. I'm going with you. If you're a man with like above 400 nanograms per deciliter of testosterone in your body, you would be like, no, you're not. You're not going. You're not going. Who is he? Let me see him. I want to meet him. That's what you would do in that situation, right? So if you don't have the resume, the Instagram that's not only builds safety and comfort, but also attraction. So she feels the pull to want to meet you and then also feels safe to meet you. You need both. If you don't have that, I'm not saying you're not going to date any girls. You're going to have a really tough time. You're not going to get that good of matches. You might get like the odd 7 here and there on Hinge, but you're not going to get that many high quality matches. The average, by the way, for matches on a dating app is 20 a month. That's like the average for the bare minimum. Like, you ever look around at the mall and you see these men, you're like, oh, what are you wearing? You've never been to the gym before, I can tell. He gets 20 and you're getting maybe the same, if not lower, but maybe above, like an average around 20, 25. If you add it up, he's almost the same level as you. Like, that should make you angry. Like, I'm angry for you. Like the jabroni at the mall, at like the taco stand, who has like stains on his shirt. He's getting the same amount of matches with the same girls as you are on your profile because your profile isn't dialed in. It looks very average. You have like portrait photos of your beauty. Like, girls don't care about your beauty. Why would they? You look at girls for their high estrogen markers, how fertile and pretty, feminine, warm, nurturing their face is. The more attractive a girl's face, the more amount of estrogen in her body. Your DNA, primitive brain, mammalian brain, sees that and goes, she can get pregnant easy. I impregnate girl, my genes live on. That's what your DNA is thinking. That's why you like pretty, feminine, high fertility, high estrogen girls. She's not looking at your pretty, feminine face and going, I can impregnate him. He's really, really feminine and pretty and high estrogen. No, that's a big problem if she's thinking that. What's she looking at? Lifestyle. What would it feel like if I hopped on this guy's train, polarity, right? If I hopped on this guy's train of his life, what would it feel like? Would my life get better, exciting, fun? Would I feel safer? Would I be able to relax into my feminine? Would he lead me? What would it feel like if he led me? What does his life feel like if I'm in it? In status, who respects him? Do people actually respect him? Does he have friends that are high level guys? If she doesn't see any of that on your Instagram and she sees a very average weirdo chump, which by the way, like, you could be a badass in person, cool dude. Instagram looks like a chump and you're getting the same responses online than freaking jabroni at the pretzel stand at the mall with stains on his shirt. Wild, right? Like, I don't know why guys are just always not optimizing for their Instagram. It's pretty mind-blowing. If you want help building your Instagram, attracting the exact high quality girls that you want to go on dates with, to then whatever it is, short-term relationship, long-term relationship, all you got to do is in the description, there's a link. I want you to click that link and book your free call. And on that call, we'll break down your current Instagram. I'll give you feedback on exactly what's killing attraction, what's killing comfort. We'll map out a game plan of how to build that profile as efficient and fast as possible. So now you're high status online. So now you're actually harnessing the leverage and the power of Instagram. All right. Hope you enjoyed the video. Talk to you soon. Peace.